It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed in. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Radical Truth to Power, the progressive news show with Let's Be S3. I am your host, Marlon, along with Theas, along with Tracy Carson. Anna Hart is on the way. She's just running late. So today's show, you can see, again, we're just going to ease up, but some of these subjects, some of these Redditor stories, we can make them political. Like this time, I'm not even going to stop anybody from making it political or social or anything like that. It is what it is. Only reason I just honestly don't care is because we will be off a whole week, a whole weekend. I'll be going on vacation. So you'll be seeing a whole bunch of reruns, and sorry, but not sorry. None of them are going to be premieres because I don't even want to try to monitor them. I want to go down to godforsaken Florida, but I still want to go.
Living la vida loca. Have a good time in the sun, brother. Go have a good time.
You're going to be in that sun. Tell you that much. But I just want to relax. It's been a hectic first half of the year, or however you want to say it. So
just don't tell nobody that you're a liberal or progressive or anything like that when you go to Florida, because you remember that's illegal down there now. So I need you to, be quiet. Don't make no eye contact with the white folk, and just get some good food, relax, and get out before sundown.
I've been to this place before. It's one of those typical we'll stomach you because we need your money. Not need, not that's the wrong phrase. We want your money. Now you go a little further down, southern where we go a little more south than where we from, you're absolutely right, Theus. Just keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, eat, drink, and everything else. How's it going,
And then I'm
Tracy?
like, which one of them? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm doing great, but I'm very tired. Moving is not fun at all.
No, it's not.
If my word of advice, if you start moving, just save enough money to pay a moving company. Just that's a lesson I should have learned, but no me. You just ask your family, you know.
No, nope,
Ain't
nope, nope.
nobody got time to be moving. That stuff heavy.
And it, well, you're in India. Is it hot in Indiana?
It was
It's
90
hot.
degrees.
Yeah, it's hot
No,
all around the
and,
country, bro.
and it's
The
hot.
whole world is hot.
Whole world on fire. So we already got a whole bunch of people already commenting. Oh, and I apologize for being late, but as you can see from the top of my head, the reason why I was late. We started late, we ended late. Hello, Anna. So
Hello.
Hello.
I had to get these dreadlocks like as far away from my neck as I possibly could get before I go down to Florida, and
Ooh.
I ain't gonna be down there sweating like you know. It ain't fun, folks. I did it last year. It ain't fun.
Mm.
See what we got out there. Please, as Anna say, hit that like button. Please share on your social circles. Share is definitely caring. Sharing is definitely caring. YouTube being all grumpy about which comments it will put through pumps. And Parker just say meant to do 840, and I meant to do 840 because of something that came up. Mickey came in and says, "Fair warning, laptop throwing a tantrum. So if I disappear, I'm still alive, but the laptop isn't."
No.
Now Tracy, not to throw shade or anything, but at some point we need to ask Tracy why she has an upcoming live stream called "Why I'm Leaving the Left." She may say we have to just wait and see though, and I reply, no. She's gonna say you have to tune in and see.
And that's exactly what I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This Parker is what we call classic click bait.
Yeah. And Mickey also giving me the suggestion of making sure I don't tell anybody in Florida that I'm black. So
Like
Mm.
they can't see it, but you know.
No, just pretend you're Tim Scott. You're not black. You're American.
What? Okay, there was a comment one time, and yeah, maybe I'm trying too hard here, but they actually said you're the only Black Americans. You're the only Americans, indigenous, but everybody else is a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, so I can tell you where that could come
yeah,
from.
Please do,
I
please.
just learned it to myself. He answered that question too, but go ahead, Thea.
Yeah. So it does omit what Mickey pointed out, the fact that the indigenous Americans also had
Yeah.
to be written into the Constitution. But let's just be real, no one talks about your history here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So because when there's only two nationalities or ethnic groups or whatever you want to call us that have experienced the full weight of the US government. That is the indigenous population and Africans who were brought here and forced into slavery. And so there were two genocides waged, first against your people, then against ours. Um, and it was so thorough, the genocidal attack on the indigenous people, there's not a lot of people left to tell the story. In fact, when you get to talking to a lot of the indigenous people, they just seem like white people, and many of them try to pass as white people. So, you know, that's kind of where that comes from. So that's where you'll hear them say we're the only American, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Americans, yeah. That was the
Right.
term.
Everybody else are automatically citizens because we
Yes.
weren't automatically citizens. We had to be given citizenship.
Yeah.
It had to be written in for us to even be eligible.
Okay.
So that's where
Makes
that line of thought comes from.
Yeah.
And just
Kind of
to
like we're the
be,
only manufactured group in America.
yeah, just to be absolutely clear, I talk about I was adopted by an elder from BC. I will often reference my Kipapanan Greywo. Adopted. I can count back to like a sixth or seventh great grandfather who uh, kidnapped, whether willing or not, a woman from the Algonquin Nation, and I descend from a tiny bit of a line, but not enough to be absolutely. I do not claim that I am indigenous.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm talking for the people who are
Yeah,
indigenous, and
I
because they
just
have a similar issue that many of the African
yeah.
Americans have, in that we can't split hairs in many cases, right? Like that's why I get sometimes frustrated on our side of the struggle where people split into their camps too much to the point that you end up fighting amongst each other to
Mm-hmm.
determine who is worthy. I mean, there are some clear lines, right? If you're first, second generation immigrant black, you are not African American, most likely, unless one of those parents was African Americans. Now, it's 50, 75, whatever the percentage, whatever. But
Wait. So
you did not get the legacy impact, right? Um,
okay,
but I don't understand when people get to doing the thing where, oh no, he's mixed, so he's not black. Oh no, she's mixed, so she's not. I'm like, all of us are mixed. Like
right?
And that
that's
was
part
such,
of our story.
and that is such BS itself because it was a racial undertone that was said for probably the beginning of time. That one drop of black blood makes you black.
Although that was so that the slave master would be able to enslave his own children with impunity. That's why that happened. So there's a blood quantum rule that exists for black people, which goes directly into slavery. So you could determine who could be a slave and who was not,
Right.
right? And then there's a blood quantum rule for the indigenous people so that you could get access to some of the benefits of the treaties that the US government put out for the indigenous people.
Always
And
broke.
so,
Sorry.
huh?
And they
Well, all the
always
treaties are
broke.
broken, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the blood quantum rule has
Mm.
also been weaponized by indigenous people to fight amongst themselves as well. So that black
You
indigenous
have to
people
be.
are pushed out from it because they don't want us there. Right? Everybody's anti-black. I mean, I'm sorry, put it that way. Everybody's anti-black. So
Mm-hmm.
there's that part of it saying, well, even though your black blood directly is tied to this tribe, right? We had black chiefs in some of the tribes here in America,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this, but it was still a matter of, hey, if you want this money, you got to reject these people. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, we are starving and ain't too many of us left. So yeah, we don't need them either. So it's so complicated. The whole thing is
It
complicated.
is.
Um, that's why I really wish, even though I just pointed these things out, black folk don't turn against your indigenous brothers and sisters, because
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing about it. Everybody's not going to be on your side regardless. That's just straight up and down. That's what it is. You find the ones that are on your side and you work with them. That's what you do. And then you look at it and say to yourself, this is me talking to black folk. You look at the path that we're on. You look at our dwindling political and social capital. It is going down, folks. It's going down. So we are on the path to be more like the indigenous people than we are to ever be like the white people. As you lose social capital, you become irrelevant.
Mm.
And if you want to know what it's like to be irrelevant to the US government, Go talk to your indigenous brothers and sisters who live on the reservation and in tribal lands. It ain't a pretty thing to end up with.
This is why my grandfather always talked about no one in the tribe gets left behind. This was such an important piece of his teaching.
Okay, so
Okay.
let me get this straight. So we ain't even gonna warm up. We just gonna jump
We
right
just
on.
gonna jump
We're
right
gonna
into
jump
it.
right on in there and go get. All right.
Didn't you say that's what we were allowed to do?
Yep.
I think that's what you said we were allowed to do.
And I didn't lie. I didn't stop you. I just thought y'all was gonna warm up, but nah, y'all gonna jump. So I don't even know why I'm playing this about let's get started, but let's get started.
I apologize, Marlon. That
Ain't
was
no
me.
apology. I'm saying I'm trying to get it all in, cause y'all just give me enough stuff to cut up to last us for 2 weeks. So thank you. So I did have one serious thing. This is both from the fifth column because I tried to find a video of the situation, but I can't because right now is more of undocumented event that happened. So we're getting bits and pieces that's coming in, and apparently we don't have enough information to actually say yes, this is what happened.
There's still speculation.
Is a lot of speculation, but we got a lot of people that's involved in it that we just got to get a timeline and a time frame of what happened.
Oh, okay.
We may know the event did happen, we just don't know how, what, and who was involved.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some infighting on the Republican side in Michigan state legislature. But yeah, they
In
went
what
with
state?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Oh, okay. I can't hear. I can barely hear. I'm sorry.
But they're going a little too far with the infighting.
If you have missed it, generally speaking, there has been a lot of discord. Some might say that the Republican Party is struggling with itself. There's been some disputes. I would imagine that many would classify it as Republican infighting. Now, normally, when a political commentator says infighting, it is metaphorical. According to some recent developments and a little bit of light reporting, in this case, it's literal. Now, I'm going to kind of go through this. I'm going to do it vaguely because it is still very early on in this coverage. So keep in mind, order of events may change, so on and so forth. But from what I have been told, the state Republican Party there was holding a meeting, and it was a closed-door meeting for committee members. Okay? There were some Republicans who were outside of those doors who were kind of upset about having to listen through a door. At some point, a door handle got jiggled, which led somebody from inside to kind of come over and investigate. They might have received a single-fingered salute through a window. That may have led to a door being opened, which could have led to somebody being kicked in the groin. There was also a chair involved. Long story short, it appears that law enforcement got involved and somebody wound up going to the hospital. So there's that.
They out here done took it to the streets. I mean, took it to the boardroom.
Children.
What about the children?
So
Look,
America.
they're being children.
I don't even know what to say about this at
Oh, I
all.
got words.
Oh, go ahead then.
When I say, ha ha, just what you get, this is what I'm talking about. This party, well, of course, I have problems with both parties, but since this is Republicans, I'll just talk about Republicans. They let they let themselves be bullied by Trump to get more voters. Why didn't they think, oh, gee, there's more like him? Like, nobody ever sat down and thought, gee, there's probably more bullies here at the local level that if they don't get their way, they'll come in and break doors and get middle fingers and kick somebody in the groin. Like, they never thought, like, this idea never occurred to them.
Didn't Lindsey Graham actually say that, before he bowed down and kissed the ring, that this would irreparably
That's what he
damage?
said. That's exactly what he said. He forgot it,
He
but
was
that's
right.
exactly what he said. He said it would irreparably damage the Republican Party.
That's right.
I mean, if this isn't an example of I told you so, this is I told you so.
Mm.
I don't have anything to add. I've been the person who said F the Republicans for so long for what they've done to this country, what they've done to the American people, that I honestly, I'm sorry. I don't condone violence, and I really don't condone violence, but this falls into the category of, but I don't care if it happens, and I don't care if this happened.
But
I
the
don't.
sad part about this is I would not be surprised if this didn't happen in the Congress, the U.S. Congress.
Mm.
It just would not even shock me.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't shock me when I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. You already had one Congress person call another congresswoman the B word, and then say,
Yep.
"Yep, I said it."
Mm-hmm.
You deny that. You deny that. You don't just come around and say, "Yep."
And that's what Parker said when we first said right-wing infight. And I thought this was going to be about this week, Margie Taylor getting kicked out of the Freedom Caucus in Congress, also known as the Tea Party. It was funny. And somebody had sent me that link, and I'll tell you exactly what I said. Yeah, you can celebrate. Okay, I'm stretching when I even say celebrate. Okay, just hear me out when I say this. First of all, I could honestly give a damn about somebody getting kicked off a racist ass carcass. I mean, I don't care. If you want to make me happy, eliminate the whole damn thing. But I'm not going to be happy because you made up a fake ass carcass and somebody that you don't like got kicked out of it. Second of all, the person got kicked out of it because of the second person, Laura Boebert. Ta-da!
No,
So
actually, they kicked her out because she wasn't right wing enough. That was her.
whatever.
She strayed away from
She strayed away
the
from
Freedom
her.
Caucus's
Yep, she strayed
hardline.
away. That's what they're
Okay.
saying.
I regret that I asked, but I'm sorry.
We're just here for the information.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, so here's the thing. First of all, I'll lead with the video.
Hmm?
Why does anyone? Why do we even care? Right? It's that tit for tat thing.
Yep.
Because today they're talking about what this thing, bunch of old politicians, and they got mad, flicked somebody off, and may have kicked somebody. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Next week is going to be a story about something that some Democrat did, and it won't be equal. It'll be something like he said something really mean to somebody, and it'll be broadcast the same way.
But it'll compare.
Right? What was it? Last week was they found some random traces of cocaine in the White House, and then this week we got some Republicans getting into a skirmish I remember the last time they told us about a fight, which was the McCarthy and the other guy thing, and I'm like, that wasn't even a fight. That was BS. That wasn't even anything. So it's just more political theater. I don't know. Like, I don't care. Like Marlon was pretty much hitting on. I mean, the party. I need the party to fall apart anyway. So I really don't care what they do. So
Yeah, I'm just waiting on the Democrats to follow. I'm like, okay.
I just want to share.
there'll be a
because I didn't know
version.
you was
There will
gonna get.
definitely be a version.
Democrats don't know how to fight.
They are still
They'll
both
just be,
parties
not.
heavily
They fight for
funded.
what they want to fight for.
Even if fights break out amongst our lawmakers, amongst our senators, the DNC and the RNC still retain control. Those are different people, are they not?
I'm gonna say no, but that's me. I just love how they hold themselves up to this. I'm a Congress or legislator, and I'm to be respected. Oh, okay, you fighting in them streets, I see. Okay, cool, got it, understood.
Show me your
But the ones who
worth
are
or
acting like this aren't
modicum
the
of
ones telling you
respect.
to respect them either.
Right. They don't care. I mean, even when
They're
they say
not
they
there to
care.
legislate anything. They don't. That's not what they're there for.
No.
And they don't even pretend to be there for it.
Yeah, I don't think we should be surprised. And the only thing that surprises me is that we're hearing about it. 'Cause I'm sure this has happened before. I'm almost 100% certain this has happened before.
Yeah, we already got
I'm
somebody.
sure.
I'm sorry. It was this year ago that I heard one legislator peeing in another legislator's
Oh,
chair. So
yeah.
I'm getting news.
Hey, the Indiana General Assembly almost came to blows 2 years ago.
And these are all still human beings, you know.
Right.
So
They are human
and
beings.
people fight in legislatures all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But
And I
we're
ain't gonna lie,
not
And
used
in
to
my
see.
opinion, it might be good that now they got to run the risk of somebody putting their hands on them, because it'll cut down some of that empty talk.
Yeah.
But see, some of them are so old they can't defend themselves.
Then they shouldn't talk.
They talk like they can.
I mean,
I'm
some
sorry.
of them.
You talking like you can.
What's the average age of Congress? 70, 72?
70 something.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
they can't, no.
No.
So they need to watch their mouth.
Right.
But it's usually the younger ones that are popping off at the mouth. You got your Matt Gateses, and
Right. So if that, I agree with you there. So I'm saying, like, then the old people wouldn't be in a fight. The only time the old people will be in a fight is when they're trying to establish some sort of decorum, and the young people are too busy being stupid. And then you might have that, right? But I don't know. Our government's a joke. A really sad joke.
That's better. A sad joke. All right, y'all. Let's move on. My wife's a thief.
Parents, I'm a 30-year-old man and my wife is 28. Me and my wife and my brother and his wife went to visit our parents because we haven't seen them in a while. My parents had a box of $300 ginseng in the fridge to be given as a gift to their close friend's wedding anniversary tomorrow. We know this because it came up in conversation during lunch. They also told us to help ourselves to anything in the fridge, but to not touch the ginseng for obvious reasons. The problem came when, a few hours later, my parents called us in a panic saying that they couldn't find the ginseng and asking if anyone saw it. I didn't take it, and at first, I thought they just misplaced it somewhere. However, they insisted that they both agreed that they wouldn't move it out of the fridge drawer for that exact reason. All of us denied taking it, and the conversation got more heated when my father started yelling that someone must have taken it since it only went missing when we came to visit. All of us continued to deny taking it, with my wife being really quiet. My father said that if it doesn't turn up soon, he'd have to have everyone's belongings checked. That's when my wife admitted that she took it. Apparently, it was some popular brand that my in-laws mentioned, and she thought that no one would notice since it was in an inconspicuous place in the fridge. My mother-in-law later called me and said that my parents overreacted over such an inconsequential thing, and she screamed at me that I was a butthole for not defending my wife. The thing is, in my opinion, it wasn't a small thing. My wife literally stole hundreds of dollars from my parents and tried to lie her way out of it. While I agreed that my parents shouldn't have started yelling and accusing us, I feel like my wife was in the wrong for taking the ginseng in the first place. This situation has caused a lot of friction, and we haven't been speaking since coming home. Am I the bad guy?
I don't even understand what the hell this is about, bro. I mean,
Okay. Ginseng in at least I know of China, some Eastern Asian countries really revere certain herbs and old style medicines. There are very expensive types, $300 in this case. So it's, I mean, I don't know this actual stories, where they were going with it.
Oh, it was a wedding gift for somebody.
no, I mean, I get that part, and I get that this woman took it,
She was wrong.
and
Right.
right. So you gonna call me because your daughter's a thief, and she's not just a thief; she stole it from my parents.
Right.
And you calling me because I didn't stand up for her while
Right.
she sat there and watched everybody get accused,
Yeah,
and
that's
she ain't
getting
say
saying
nothing.
nothing. She said
Thank you.
Because my
Yes.
question to the mother would have been, defend what? What am I defending?
The honor of your woman.
My woman a thief.
My daughter's a thief, but you should have defended her.
You're right.
Again,
Maybe
defend
she
what?
has what do they call that when you steal for like no reason?
Klepto.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Kleptomaniac.
Yep.
I don't care what her issue is.
Mm.
She
She was
stole it,
wrong.
Wow, sis.
and
Such
then sat there
compassion.
and then she sat there and watched the family go berserk trying to figure it
Right.
out.
She
That's
just,
it's bad enough she took it because she knew she
It wasn't hers.
only looked for it because she was told it was there. That's
It
number
wasn't.
one. It wasn't like she stumbled
Mhm.
into it. Then she went and stole it. So she was stealing it from the people who were going to get it as a gift, and she's stealing from my parents.
Right.
Then all of us are going back and forth. My dad's getting upset, my mom's getting upset, and you're sitting there acting like nothing
Right.
until it got to the point where dad was like, yo, everybody check your pockets. Now you're going to come clean because you caught. And yeah, I'm just like, that would have been a really bad phone call for my mother-in-law to make.
To be
me.
making,
It just would have
oh
been bad.
nah, he a thief, and you want me to do what?
Yep.
Yeah, it'd have been a bad call.
Mm-mm.
Well, let's get it on.
And then you talking about now my wife and I aren't talking
Cause she's a thief. What else did
because
she
she's
stole?
spoiled.
Yeah, and what do you?
Because she's spoiled.
And
Let's
then
go.
it's just gonna
You
just
let me be embarrassed. No, you let you be
started
embarrassed.
when you
let
took
yourself be
something when
embarrassed.
you took something that wasn't yours. They specifically said help yourself to anything in the refrigerator, but this one item, this one thing, don't touch it.
You know, I don't like people like that.
No.
They only want what you tell
spoiled?
them they can't have. I don't like those people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's most of society.
Let's go ahead and
They
get
don't
this
like
out
most
the
of
way,
society.
then. I don't.
I can't with you today.
Well, let's get on into the reason why she did what she did.
She has a really rare cancer, and she needed
Yeah,
a
that's what it is. I'm
ginseng.
gonna go with Anna. I'm
Nope.
trying.
Okay. Yeah.
Nope.
She hates the family. She hates the father-in-law.
Nope.
After making the post, I thought a lot more about the situation. I realized after reading the comments that this indeed was not a one-time situation. Things in our house like face creams, kitchen utensils, and even household tools would go missing, and I would just believe my wife's excuses. I feel like such an idiot for not realizing sooner, and honestly, I can't believe she took advantage of my trust like that. I guess a part of me refused to believe the truth, which is how she thought that she could get away with it this time. When I brought up divorce, she immediately threatened to call the cops to arrest me for domestic violence, when I had never laid a hand on her like that. So that way I could never find a job again. So needless to say, my lawyer is being called and this marriage is ending very soon. I've also apologized to my parents for this awful behavior and they've accepted. To be honest, this is probably the best ending, and I'm kinda glad the situation happened before it went on any longer. I'm incredibly done with my, hopefully, soon-to-be ex-wife and her side of the family, whose mother called me again yesterday, entirely remorseless, and called me a childish mama's boy. Also, to clarify, from what I'm aware, my mother-in-law was aware of my wife's actions, especially since she's done this sort of thing before, taking things from our house to give to them. And she didn't see anything wrong with it since neither of them like my parents. And since it was going to be a short visit, like 2 hours tops, she thought that no one was going to notice the missing ginseng before we left.
Is she for
All right, so
real?
this should be a real or nah, because ain't none of this
This
making sense.
I can't believe none of this. I'm with you.
Nope.
I can't. No. Ain't no way she that dumb. No.
I'm
But
sorry.
hey,
I'm trying to
break a
figure out which
news,
part
break
is
open.
unbelievable.
You pegged it. She's a klepto. She cannot help
No,
herself.
No, she's not a
she's
klepto.
not a
She's doing
klepto.
it
She
all
was stealing
intentional.
stuff to give to her family,
But
her side of the
kleptomaniacs
family.
do things intentionally. They don't. It's not their
No,
intent to hurt people.
They don't have impulse control. That's the problem with a kleptomaniac.
yeah,
They
kleptomaniacs
see
steal
it and they
stuff.
take it
Yeah,
because they
they just
lack
take it.
impulse control. But this woman
Kleptos
is
are the people who
decided
take
what she's
stuff just to
going
take
to
it.
do,
Yeah.
and she's
Okay.
chosen her victim.
Kleptos are people who just take things just to take it. They don't have a rhyme. They don't have a reason. They don't have a need for what they take. They
She
just see
didn't either.
something. Yes, she did. That's my point. That's why
She
she's not
doesn't
a
like
klepto.
the family.
She doesn't like the family, and whatever it is that she was stealing, she was giving to her family, her mother. So she did have a reason.
And then the
I,
mom asked, "Where you
I
get this
don't
from?" Well, I stole this
like
from the house
you.
and gave it to you. Oh, okay, thanks. Next time, steal this. What the heck? Oh my gosh, this is not real. This is not real. I don't care if it's not real or not. This ain't real. No.
Say what, Foxy?
Yeah.
Probably.
She has. That's why I
Next
said
time,
she
tell her
did
to
this.
get
She's not the first time. Say her first
be like a
rodeo.
throwback from the '90s. Hey, next time make sure she get a VCR. She got a VCR over there.
Who has a VC? Oh, the 90s. I'm
The
like,
90s. Yeah.
The
We're
90s. The 90s?
Yeah, because that was back when we had the
We ain't go to
crack
DVD. We
epidemic
ain't
and
go to
people were
DVD in the
stealing.
we
90s
didn't go to DVDs because I was doing DVDs in the 90s.
because VCRs was the 80s.
Okay, y'all.
DVDs was the 90s.
You
It
know,
don't
y'all
matter.
get hung
The
up on
point of the
some of the
matter was they
weirdest
was trying
things.
to steal.
I'm just
Did
saying
y'all never watch
VCRs
the
was not the
VCR
90s.
until like
I
the
don't.
early
Y'all never watched
2000s.
Friday?
No, I don't remember that part.
I've never seen the
Felicia?
movie Friday.
I'm
I got.
sorry?
I got to rewatch that movie. Then I don't remember that part of the movie. Friday. I don't remember that part of the movie. The mother-in-law knew her daughter was stealing because she was the one benefiting from the stolen items. Yeah, but she then turned around and called the guy childish. And the funny thing about it, to call somebody a mama's boy. Meanwhile, you got your daughter stealing stuff for you, but he's the mama's boy. And the only way
Well,
to
that's
prove
her
that
daughter
he's not
being
a
a good
mama's boy
girl.
is to let us steal from you.
No, that's the girl's being good. She's taking care of her mama.
That woman ain't need no dang ginseng. She could have sold that stuff, man. She could have sold that.
You don't know. Mama might have needed a little pick me up. It might
Yeah.
not be for mama. It might be for mama's boyfriend.
Mickey, you can't come because I've decided not to have
Please
a
don't.
housewarming.
No.
I'm refusing. I'm not having a housewarming.
DVDs was 2000.
I had DVDs in the 90s.
I had DVDs in the 90s. I know
I
that.
did too.
Okay, first, let me go ahead and say this again. Y'all get locked on to some of the dumbest shit. Like, okay, you had a DVD. Okay. At that time, there was other technology that existed as well.
Yeah.
It was part of the transition.
Yeah, like the CD Walkman.
Yeah.
Yep, I still had a boombox. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, that
All
definitely,
right.
that was definitely the 80s.
Yeah.
Where's my 8-track player? Where's my Betamax?
Ooh.
Woo.
Y'all remember Betamax, right?
Oh yeah.
Reel to reels? What about the reel to reel?
The one that didn't last long,
The reel
Play
to
it
reels
one
are from the
time. It's
80s.
like,
it lasted 2 years, and VCR just blew them like the crap out the water. Honestly, I don't even know why. It looked exactly the same.
No,
It
the
did.
Betamax had a bigger tape. That was one
Yeah.
issue with it.
Oh,
And then it
Yeah.
came up, it had the pop-up. So the VCR was an improvement on the model because now you can have a slimmer machine and it came out the front.
and it still cost $2,800. It still was expensive.
Yes.
So I'm like, what the heck?
Yes,
Sure.
because it was new technology.
Yeah.
Like, remember how much the microwave used to cost?
Mm.
I was just watching The Food That Built America. It was like microwave started at $6. I'm like, $6? What? When?
Yep.
Yeah, the things that we're used to at one point, they were
And
cutting
they be
edge.
throwing them at you now. Hey, microwave $10.
Yeah, they
There
were
it is.
dangerous. They were dangerous. I remember that because I remember they used
You
to
still
tell me.
can't put aluminum foil in it. Like they ain't even advanced that much.
No, Tracy, we remember the part
Just
where
because
they,
of the
had,
type
they
of
made
energy
sure that
it's
you
using.
cut it off before you open the door.
Yeah, the first microwaves, you could get radiation poisoning, is what it seemed like, because they
was
just kind of threw some stuff together.
They still tell pregnant people not to stand in front of a microwave.
You're fine. Anyway, going on to the next thing is, see, the funny part about your rant about us getting on different subject is when you actually come in with us and talk about the same subjects that you just rant about.
Because I'm trying to get y'all off of it.
Didn't work.
And y'all be stuck on weird stuff.
We're real people. Child-free weddings.
I'm a 46-year-old man. I am not close with my sister, Tracy, who's 29, but we have a good relationship. At least we did before this incident happened. Tracy got married recently, and she told me the wedding was child-free. I have a daughter, Ella, who's 12, and I asked Tracy if she could come, but she said sorry, she and her partner were sticking to the rules. I managed to arrange for Ella to stay at a friend's house for a couple of days since the wedding was in a different city. So I went to the wedding and I saw quite a few older children, including my other siblings' kids. I asked my brother at the wedding and he said that he was told the child-free limit was only for really young kids, like disruptively young. It was obvious that Tracy lied to me about not bringing Ella. We went through the ceremony, and towards the end of the reception, I pulled Tracy aside and said that I realized she'd completely lied to me and that there were plenty of other kids. She looked really uncomfortable and said that it wasn't a big deal, but I said that I deserve an apology, and so does Ella at some point. Tracy got mad and said that I was ambushing her at her own wedding, and it's her and her partner's choice what they do. We ended the conversation there and went off to talk to other people. She sent me a text later saying that I was being selfish and I'm the one that should be apologizing to her and her husband for making a big deal out of this. I'll admit that I sent a not so nice text back about her caring more about aesthetics than people. Now it's sort of blown up within our family.
Man, all these damn petty people. Look, was it cool that she lied to you? No. Soon as you realize she lied to you, leave.
Thank you. That's what I've been like. Leave.
Yeah.
Go. Ain't nobody making you stay, bruh. She would have noticed. Oh, she would just.
But now you want to stand on what's right and wrong. Yeah. You told me no children when you should have just said no young children. If I had known that, then maybe I'd understand. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't have understood if she said it that way either. So you got your draws in a bunch, rightfully or wrongfully. Don't really care. All right, but cool. You feel how you feel. You have your right to feel the way you feel. Now go home and feel that. Bye. And then argue with your sister tomorrow.
Well, wait a minute. There's more. What did I call this one?
Yeah, because you're calling on all of them. Of course,
I
you're
know,
gonna
but
get
eventually I'm going to get a few right. You know what? You better be lucky I'm not at North Carolina, because I would call the Red House and have it come to your house.
And move furniture.
Houses.
Okay, I need a furniture set. What? Why would
Oh,
that be
no.
a threat?
I would
Why?
make sure they
Make
put
sure
the
you
ugliest plastic-covered 1970s furniture possible.
Nah, you just got to make sure you get the proper furniture that's good for black people and white people
And
and all
everybody.
people.
This ain't even a I love you, I hate you type of thing. Let's go ahead and get into the video and understand the real reason why the daughter wasn't invited.
Advised that there were definitely kids under 12. The actual cutoff was around 6 to 7 years old. OP's brother brought his 10-year-old kid. So the fact that Ella got singled out is really weird and unusual. Oh my god! I just read an important comment. Okay, do you guys... Oh my god, this keeps getting worse! Do you guys want to know why OP's daughter wasn't allowed at the wedding? Because OP's wife and daughter were in an accident. In this accident, OP's wife died, and his daughter's arm had to be amputated. Oh!
So that's
All right,
why.
She was ashamed of the niece that had her arm amputated. Oh, she a piece of garbage. Oh, no, wait a minute. You should have played that part first.
Yeah. There are people who in certain weddings, no. There are people who have weddings whose aesthetics is so important to them. They're willing to get rid of relatives who they don't find attractive enough, old friendships they don't find attractive enough. They could ask bridesmaids and maids of honor to change their appearances from, can you wear a wig because I have to have a certain look, all the way down to, can you cut your hair because I don't want your hair to be longer than my hair.
She with her own niece?
There are people who are just like that. When they take those photos, it has to be pinpoint perfect.
She don't deserve happiness. Dang, lady.
Wow, Tracy.
Just like, dang.
That was a heavy.
You don't. The poor little girl had her arm amputated. It's not her fault.
I get that.
You should have been like, dang, lady, dang. That's terrible. She's ashamed of her own niece, basically.
Was her niece going to be in the wedding party?
He said that was the reason. Did he? I mean, how do we know that was actually the reason? Or is that what the conclusion he's reaching because of how messed up it was?
She probably said it with her narcissistic self.
Well, it was a comment.
There was a comment in the
in this Reddit story that said she didn't. So it wasn't.
He didn't just assume it.
No, that's what I'm saying. He could have still assumed it. A comment just means that that's somebody who's like, "Hey, I know the family, and this is why." That doesn't mean that it's really the reason why. I'm just saying, if your sister is that bad and you said yourself you ain't got no relationship with her, then you saved your daughter by not bringing her, because then she would have been Everybody
But
talking about it, like the young lady we heard about where the step brother pulled her wig off at
Like,
the
it's
darn party,
just what I was
that
thinking
type of
of
thing,
too.
right? So either you can help your child heal from being insulted, or you can avoid your child being insulted.
that's a hard one to swallow because I know you discriminated against my child. Oh no! Oh
I can tell you. I
So
can
then you
tell you right
disown
now.
her and you move on.
Yeah,
yeah,
She's
Yeah.
showing you who
this is
she is.
over. This is over.
yeah.
This is
She,
straight up
like I
over.
said, I stick to my statement. I'm like, girl, you don't deserve that marriage.
No.
She terrible, terrible.
Oh, I was
Assuming that
gonna
that's
say
the
you
actual
don't
reason.
deserve my presence there. I would not go into the you don't deserve happiness.
I would, oh, and I did.
I mean, I'm actually okay with the statement. I was just surprised to hear it from Tracy.
When you,
I didn't even want to say it out loud. I was agreeing with Tracy.
I'm saying what everybody else is thinking, pretty much. I just
I don't know
happen
Well,
to
I
not
about.
have
wasn't.
a
I don't know
filter.
about
I'm
the.
not.
I don't know
That's
about the
not my take.
happiness part. I don't know about the happiness part, but I don't wish any goodwill for your marriage.
Well,
I
she's
don't
already a
wish
bridezilla.
anything.
I mean, she's more concerned about that day than the rest of her marriage.
Allegedly.
You didn't invite your niece to the wedding because she has her arm amputated. What else am I
Allegedly.
supposed to say?
No, you're fully entitled to your take.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just surprised that that was your take.
Yeah.
We're not disagreeing with what you're saying, Tracy. I mean, I think Anna is kind of, but me
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Theus is not disagreeing with your take. We're just shocked you said it. It sounds more like something me and Theus would say.
But agree with that
No,
too.
it sounded
Yes.
like
Yeah, I
something
would
you
agree.
was saying.
That's definitely something you would say way before I do.
No, I'm not gonna tell you how you don't deserve to be happy.
That's
I
how.
just I'm the one that says I'm the one that's looking at it and I'm saying if I had brought my daughter somewhere that she wasn't welcome, and then you sat there and was looking at my daughter funny, or you sitting over there murmuring about it, and I know you murmuring about my baby, then now I'm gonna go to war with you at your wedding. So as a parent, you saved me by that. I would just
He
would have
did
rather you
save his
not
daughter
invited me
from
either.
being around a
Yeah,
horrible
I agree.
aunt.
Because you would not believe somebody, allegedly, you would not believe somebody would do that to your niece. We're not talking about a guest. We're talking
I
about
wouldn't
your
do that
niece.
to a guest. I wouldn't do that. Hey, everybody, you can only be able-bodied. You can't come in my housewarming if you're not able. What the heck? Oh,
I think what makes me a little bit mad, nah,
she
not really,
discriminated
not
against
really,
her
because I
own
kind of
niece.
understand this.
Mm-hmm.
You lied by covering up the fact that this was a child-free wedding. My question to you, of all questions to ask a bridezilla, is what was the end result you think was going to happen
That's
when
what I'm
the
saying. Why'd
person?
you invite me?
She was
You knew
gonna
it was
go
gonna
to
go
my
bad once I got there.
Thank you. Why would you invite? Why would you
right.
invite me? Say it's a
Cause she's
child-free
gotta
wedding, and
put
I'm gonna
it.
show up
This
and
is
say,
her. No, y'all not get. This is her day, and everybody has to see her son on her day. It's all about her. Look at her. Look how she looks. Look
Was
what
he
she's got
related?
That's
on.
cool. But
Because
you
all of the
know I'm gonna
siblings were
be
there.
there and see.
say that again, Anna.
She
What
doesn't care.
was he related? They were talking at one point about all of his siblings being there with their children.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's his
Yeah,
sister, but he doesn't
that's
have a
her.
good relationship with her.
he.
That was
That's the
her
only one he
brother.
doesn't
This
have.
is the sister. Okay, it's
Yeah,
the aunt and the. Okay.
yeah, it's the brother and sister.
Yeah, she's tough. I
So
wouldn't go. I just wouldn't go.
we're literally talking about a blood relative. Why would you invite me knowing
Because
that I
she
was going
won't.
to bring my daughter? So you lied to exclude my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
knowing, okay, surprise, surprise, I can still see that there's children here. So can you explain to me why my daughter was the only one that was not allowed to come? I ambushed you at your event because you ambushed me to get me to come to this event.
Yeah, because that also makes me wonder, and this is not on him, okay? I'm just curious. Because it sounds like you ain't got a good relationship with the rest of your siblings either. Because I just can't imagine where, now I only have one sibling, so the math doesn't support this, but if I had more than one sibling and you telling me the kids can't come, and I got other nieces and nephews, why wouldn't I have at some point had a conversation with one of my brothers or sisters saying, "Hey, what time are y'all planning on getting to the wedding?" And I was told that the kids can't come. What are you guys going to be doing with your kids? Right?
That's true.
That just seems like a natural conversation, you know? So it's strange that he didn't even have that. And it's not on him. I mean, he didn't have to have this conversation. It's all on his sister. But it's just strange, like you ain't got no connection with nobody in your family.
Hey, that happens.
I know,
that
but
happens.
It's usually because of you at that point.
I get what you're saying, Theas, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just giving.
Having a disability can be so ostracizing, even from your own family.
You think they be the ones that understand? Can I answer Mickey's question? Mickey had a question. She said, and I didn't respond to it.
I'm sorry. Tracy, if I let you know that I can only stand and walk with a rolling walker, am I uninvited from your housewarming?
You are not, because I'm not having a housewarming. Continue.
So that's the reason why she's not uninvited. It's not because of
I'm just not. I was making that as an example when I said.
So if you was having one,
she would be invited. Obviously, I'm not gonna. Yeah, but Mickey is also in New York, and I'm also in Indiana, so that means she probably had to get on a plane, which she couldn't.
She will make that trip for you.
No, she wouldn't, and I wouldn't
why you're not invited, Mickey.
I wasn't even invited.
You know,
I'm not having one. Period. So don't nobody. There's no way you come from Washington State all the way to Indiana. I wouldn't come to none of your housewarming party. So wouldn't. Nope.
I wouldn't dare do it now. All right, everybody. I know we close it up real short, like 3 minutes short, so it ain't that bad. We're going to take a break real quick to reboot and refresh, and we'll see everybody on the other side with Am I the A-Hole, Real or Nah, and of course, Foxy's videos of the week. Stay tuned.
Wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna
back. And without further ado, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/A Better Tracy Media page. Help support Tracy in all of her endeavors. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/A Complex Mind. Help support Diaz in all of his endeavors. Please do not forget to go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Radical Truth to Power, exactly where it's spelled, capital R, capital T, capital T, capital P. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, Borrelia, etc. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. And as always, you can drop me a line at radtp@outlook.com. That's RAD, toiletpaperoutlook.com.
Except for if your name is Tracy, if you're banned for 6 months.
Except if your name is Tracy. Right. And
I would like to nominate. I know it's still not worse than the nurse, but that person deserves a nomination into the worst
She
person
sure
of the year.
does. I mean, come on, lady.
Okay.
Woo-wee. At least an honorable mention. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I'll make sure that I put her in the folder then. I still got it on there. And Tracy, this is why. You know, one place where nobody will be uninvited, the red house.
You know, my house is a brick red.
I saw it. It's very cute, and I love the fireplace.
And it actually watches my video.
For those of you that don't know, you miss out on some incredible videos if you are not a patron of Tracy's. For just a little bit of money each month, you could be getting some really quality stuff.
For a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And Marlon Anthony is also.
Yes, we all support our family. We try.
Am I the a-hole? It's been a long time since I have been truly pissed off listening to a story. And my streak is over. A lot calmer now.
You thought you were getting desensitized?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't listen to this story enough that it just doesn't bother me not to rage that I first heard, when I first heard the story. But yeah, I have never been so pissed off at an individual listening to a story of an individual in a long time. So here we go.
I've been in a committed relationship with my husband for 17 years, and overall, things have been great. We've had a few rough patches, but what's important to note is that while he earns more than me and is considered the main provider, I have a substantial trust fund that ensures we're financially stable. I work part-time as a teacher while attending university, earning less than him, and most of my income goes towards tuition. Our household income exceeds $200,000 annually, while the average in our area is below $50K. One ongoing issue we have is my husband's frugality. He likes to control my spending and have the final say on how he uses his earnings. It's worth mentioning that I've never used any of his income, and I have no intention of doing so. However, the main point of contention between us is his frequent visits to food banks. Despite having more than enough food at home, he insists on going to food banks to save money. He intentionally looks disheveled and uses our beat-up car to blend in, even though he's never experienced food scarcity. I have explained to him the need for food donations in our community, even showing him social media posts from local food banks, but he remains indifferent. I suggested that he volunteer or donate to gain first-hand experience, but he refuses. The unfortunate part is that since we're never short on food, most of what he brings home ends up getting thrown away. Today, I discovered our fridge filled with fresh produce and meat that clearly didn't come from our regular grocery store. When I confronted him, he admitted going to a food bank after seeing a Facebook post about a donation of fresh food. People on social media were already asking if anything was left, and there wasn't. I showed him these comments, but he brushed them off, claiming that people should have gone earlier. Exhausted by the situation, I packed a bag and went to stay with my brother for the weekend, asking for space to think things over. My husband accused me of overreacting, being vindictive, and threatening to go back to the food banks regardless of my feelings. His family is also messaging me, calling me a butthole, and urging me to stop interfering with his choices. I turned off my phone, but now they're bombarding my brother with messages. Thankfully, he supports my decision and ignores them. All I want is to enjoy the rest of my week without being angry at my husband. Yeah, I could let this go and not scold him, but the food that he takes could have gone to people who truly need it. I'm not leaving my husband, but I need a few days away to gain some clarity. Am I wrong for wanting this space?
So this person who is well off by most stretch of the meat by any standard goes to food banks, then he takes food from people that actually need it because he's frugal. Is that pretty much the idea of this?
That's what I got.
And is this real or not?
No.
No.
Dang. I was gonna say I hope
this
this
was real
is
or
fake.
not. Oh no, this is the a-hole.
Yeah.
He can't be
I
serious.
don't have anything to add to this one.
Wait, what? He has literally.
I will be right back.
As a person that's had to go to food banks, what's there is not always enough. And to think that there's a person that's taking food when they don't need it. Oh my goodness. This can't. This is. I know it's not real or not, but this can't be. There can't be a person like that, like this, that exists. It can't be.
The world's full of people like this.
So many people. So many
Okay,
people.
and now her voice is coming off the screen. I'm like, okay.
Sorry, so many people.
I have to wonder what other selfish, uncaring thing he does. He's fine with depriving the hunger of food. This is why I'm upset. And I'm trying to whoosh.
Should I take my headphones off?
Probably. Here's the deal. I've been hungry before. And the food banks have saved me from a lot of bad nights. So for you to be so selfish as to not only go into food banks and take food that you waste, but you dress the part. I can't even come up with certain words to describe.
You know it's wrong.
How much of a piece of shit you are. As in, and I told Foxy this too. I really did tell Foxy this. I can't be married to you anymore because I will not be able to look at you without disgust.
That's just
I really think it's impossible for me to do it. I couldn't bring myself to look at you with anything but disgust, disdain, maybe a little bit of hatred.
I mean, there's children that he's taking food away from because he's a selfish piece of manure. Like, what? He sleeps at night? He literally sleeps at night. Yeah, they should have got there first.
Just fine.
If I was her, I would follow him to the food bank and I would just yell out, he doesn't need it. He's got money. I didn't. Oh, he'd be on fleek. Fleek.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way,
no remorse.
I guarantee you, as the brother, I wish the hell you would call me. I wish you would.
Yeah, and his family
call
sitting there
my
like,
phone.
yeah.
I haven't used this statement in a long time, but I guarantee you that conversation ain't go nowhere near what you thought it was gonna be.
Mm-mm.
I wish you would. You already effing with my sister, and now you think you can call my phone? Yeah. Okay. I see.
So here's something
But this had been going
that,
on for a while, and your sister, was tolerating it.
well, she can't stop a grown man from doing
She
nothing.
can't stop him, but she can shame him.
But
Shaming him isn't working.
here's how we approach this, in my opinion.
Okay.
All right, so you live at a combined income with your teaching money of $200,000 a year. My first thing about it is, what in the world is going through your head where you agreed to move into a community where household income was 50,000? So that's the first thing I'm gonna call bullshit on.
Oh.
Because even if he's that thrifty, he ain't gonna go live in a $50,000 neighborhood. Okay?
Unless
Because
he's
think of what
real
a
cheap.
$50,000 neighborhood is. No, I don't know. There's nowhere to live in a $50,000 neighborhood. So he's not going to live in squalor just because it's cheap, right? He'll go steal from them. Like if y'all remember during COVID, they made this really nice term for rich folk. They called it vaccine tourism. And that was when the people from the good side of town would travel into the poor people's community to get their vaccines, because that way they didn't have to wait, because the poor people weren't really taking advantage of the vaccines the way middle class and upper class people were. So they're like, if you ain't gonna go get the shot, I'll go get it. So they would travel into the poor communities and do that. So
Wow.
this is like another version of that, which is why I'm saying it very well could be real. The part that's BS is, for me, you got a household income of 200,000, not counting your trust fund, and you live in a $50,000 neighborhood, because I think that's what she said when she was setting up the store. So I call bullshit on the whole story. But then let's move past that, pretend that's not the case, and they live in a normal middle class neighborhood, and he just does this selfish stuff. But here's what you could do, man. You could take a part of your money, which is technically y'all's money, right? Because you can't touch his money, remember, because he's crazy like that. He'll use his money to pay the bills and buy groceries and do all of that, but you can't spend his money. So use some of your little teacher money and you donate to the food bank. So he's taking $25 a month out of it, you put 50 in, right? And let him know you're doing it.
That's just gonna make
Let
him
him know
steal
you're
more.
doing it.
Well, she's gonna replace it anyway.
He ain't gonna do more than what he's already doing.
Let the
So
food bank or let the husband know?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
let the husband know. You don't
Oh.
tell the food bank. What you gonna tell the food bank for? What they gonna do? You gonna put them in a
Yeah,
position where
because
now
they
they gotta
can't
try to police
they can't
who comes
refuse
in?
service. They can't refuse.
Yeah.
Most food banks won't
Even if
refuse
they could, would
service.
you want to be the one who had to try to figure that out?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Right?
that's means testing.
I was just asking, I didn't know what you meant.
No, I get you. But yeah, I would say she tells the husband, this is what I'm doing. I need you to stop. And since you won't stop, then the least we can do is make sure we put back what we take out.
And then he's throwing it away. Not only is he stealing from children and the elderly and the disabled and the people with chronic diseases, he's throwing the food away.
But the thing is, Tracy, like that argument, it ends up ringing hollow. I get your point, because everything it's saying is true, but it doesn't carry any weight, right? When you say to somebody, well, you're taking food from the children and the sick and the shut-in and the da 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 da.
He doesn't
Yeah,
care.
these are all nebulous people that people just trot out whenever they want to make a point, right? Whenever it's like, you're spending money, this is a pivot, but you're spending money, all this money on Ukraine, and we have homeless people here in America. if we didn't spend the money in Ukraine, we still wouldn't spend the money on homeless people in America, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Now
like,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So is he taking it from the
I do.
kids? Maybe,
Yes,
but
he's definitely taking. Trust me, as a person that once or twice had to frequent a food bank, yes, he is. The amount
I
of
get what you're saying, Tracy. I'm saying that argument won't land with people. What
It
you're
ain't
it
saying
gonna.
is
won't
right
land
because
It
the
with
ain't
people
gonna
him
land
that
with
because he's
them.
argument
a
It ain't
piece
lands
of
gonna
with,
land with them.
manure.
It ain't
yeah, the
gonna land
people
with
that
them.
argument lands with wouldn't go there and do this.
Right.
Yeah, decent
Right.
people that have morals.
Yeah, that argument ain't gonna touch him. And it was said in the story. Like, did you see that on Facebook that
He
they
showed
posted
him the
something saying that they
comments,
must
and
be
he
running out of
showed
food? You
no
He
should
was
have
like,
remorse.
"What? I
showed
don't
up
care."
earlier.
No remorse.
They should
The
have
only
showed
thing
that.
you can
Yeah,
do is
so
just shame him publicly. That's the only thing that I can even
but
come
that
close to
yeah,
thinking.
that's why I was saying give the money to them and let them know let him know that that's what's happening. That will piss him off more than anything else. But it'll make your point, right? Um, but as far as like,
Why
because
would it
public
piss
shaming,
him
I don't
off?
know
It's
how
not
much that
coming out
works.
of his pocket.
It's not coming out of his pocket.
That's
He
what I'm
needs.
saying. I was about to
It's
say that,
no,
sis.
he is
Why would
not
that bother
operating.
him?
See, he's not
Uh,
worried about it coming out of his pocket. That's really not what this is about. This is about his mentality and his ideology. So, on the principle of the matter, he would be mad that any money is coming out of his household and going over there. It does not matter if it came out of her paycheck or not, because he is against the principle. So he's like, I'll take, but I don't give because if you're smart, you know how to take advantage of the
This is
system.
an anonymous
Hey,
call
anybody
to
heard of
his.
Trump? That's his philosophy, right?
oh,
Oh, now I get what you're saying, but I
You
still
are a
agree.
oh,
fool if you do not take advantage of the situation. That's why you have rich people who have food stamps, right? It's not that they need that money; they know they got the money. Yeah, but the
you
thing
know
is,
that.
you left the door open for me to be
Let me
able to
tell
do this. So why should I use my money when you got that sitting right there? I'd be a fool to leave money on the table. So that's how these people look at it. These are the same people who will go after the Black Panther Party for feeding people in the community and having a clinic in the community because it's socialism. So it's like they function on a weird wavelength that's all about themselves.
This is only one thing I can think of doing. This, let me tell you something. This is not going to line up with my faith. I'm telling y'all right now, it's not. The petty in me, call his employer. Like, do you know? And make it anonymous. Don't say nothing about it. You know this employee. If he works for the type of company I think he works for, they could be like, "Why you taking food from the homeless?"
Mm,
That's what That's what I do. I'll be like, you got an
Um,
employee. Y'all not paying y'all employees enough. He makes $200,000
mm,
a year, and he's taking the
Mhm.
Tracy,
petty in me.
mm.
I really hate to bust your bubble on something, but they ain't gonna care.
If it
Whatever
gets,
you do in your personal life is your personal life.
if it doesn't get out publicly,
My
like it,
problem is this: what you just advocated for, I stand
I see.
150% in opposition to. I know you prefaced it,
Yeah, I
but
say, hey,
that
this
to
isn't
me,
right.
yeah, I oppose that completely. Like, I don't think it's right that somebody in a restaurant says something racist and you go and get them fired at a different job across town. I just don't like that people feel like I'm going to burn your whole world down out of spite.
Mm.
Like, that's not what you call it. What's the word where it's like not balanced? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't
And
like it.
here's what I'm
It,
thinking.
it feels wrong, and I don't know. I
It feels
can't.
wrong. I didn't say it was right. I never said what
I
I
know,
said was
Tracy. I
No,
right.
you said it was
know
petty. I mean,
you
I'm just
prefaced
looking for.
it.
No, this is beyond petty. This is beyond petty. You're talking about going after someone's
Yeah,
livelihood. So then how did
yeah.
they
I
not
He
got
feed
should
to say
have
it.
themselves?
thought
How did they
about
not
that
pay
I
for their
don't
before
even
he
think it
went
hotels?
would
for
work.
food
But
that he
that
knew he
You could
affects
didn't
the
say that
need.
wives
same argument.
too.
You could say that same argument for anything that you want to in life. You should have thought about it beforehand. You can't think about every consequence. You're supposed to think about consequences. when
Yes,
do
you
things.
should.
But
Like
that
you should
wouldn't even
literally be
show
like,
up in the realm of possibility.
I
Marlon
said,
and I had a real good back and forth about this one point, which is why I stopped sharing as much of my social views, because I do not agree with people who will go and take a piece of something you said, ignore the entirety of who you are, and then weaponize it to destroy your whole world. I
did
don't
I
like
not
that.
say
I
this
don't
was
think that that's
petty in
right.
me? Did I say the petty in me? I think I said
I
that
know.
before I started the
You
Yeah, that
whole
doesn't
did,
sentence.
excuse
Tracy.
it. It just explains it.
But we're
So I
having
wasn't
a
talking
good
about you anymore. I was
conversation
talking
here
about the
about
motion,
this.
the method.
But it's got to be something that gets it in his mind that this is wrong. I don't know what it is.
It ain't that.
He's a grown man. I don't think there's too much of anything that's going.
Right?
And I'm sorry, Tracy. You put way too much weight in thinking that there are certain things that's going to get somebody fired.
Oh, I didn't say get him. Well, yeah, I did say get him.
Or
This
Or
this
because
that
may very
they're
well
not
get
someone
going
him
to
will
care.
fired.
see the light.
They're not going to care. If he's
They
making
might.
$200,000 a year, obviously
If
he's making 4 times as much money for that corporation. So yeah, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and we'll look into it.
Or
And
she
that
could
piece of
if
call.
it's
paper will be balled up and thrown in the trash can.
I've
They
seen people
couldn't care less.
literally, Marlon, get fired at their jobs. I.e., the lady that called the police on the black bird watcher. She got fired from her.
Exactly.
Hers was
You can get
legitimate. Hers was.
every company is not corrupt. Every company is not
Mhm.
evil. And there's also the standpoint of you just don't want the negative press. So
Exactly.
it might be
I'll
a
say
company that
200. If I'm
tries to
making $3
fight
million,
homelessness, hunger, you know,
huh?
it might be a company that actually puts some money where its mouth is and tries to help hunger,
People.
homelessness. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's got to
No,
be
I get what
something that you
Marlon's
can.
saying though, because the odds are very strong that they're not operating on this moral high ground
Yeah,
because that's not what capitalism does.
No.
My
right.
point though is, as a business, if you are a senior officer or somebody that I'm paying that kind of money for, I mean, you could be an attorney, in which case you're not a big deal. I got 5 of those on payroll, right? But it could still be a matter of, I just don't want the noise. I don't want the headache.
You don't want the
So
calls. You don't want
Right.
the.
goodbye. You
Yep.
know,
That's what I'm saying, and that
it's,
happens
it's
a
a bad
lot.
look, dude.
And the worst case scenario, Tracy, you may literally get what you want, that they fire him. That's not what they told him behind closed doors, though. We're going to publicly tell you that you are being fired. Take you a good 6 weeks off. Let the smoke clear.
Let it die down.
And
Yes,
we'll bring you right back.
or they'll give him a big severance package, and it'd be like, "Ooh, I
No,
got fired. Thank
no,
you."
odds are if they're willing to fire him for this, they're going to fire him for this. There's no love lost with these companies.
Nope. They'll replace you just
If
like
this
that.
comes to light and it catches wind and it becomes a social media type of thing, or or a news at 11 type situation, I
Mm,
don't need that headache,
Of course, we did
right?
elect one of these
right.
people to be our president, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
To
But
Marlon's
president is
point,
different. We protect the office of the presidency. So, like all this stuff that Trump is getting away with, most of it is because he held the office
Yep.
of the president. So they are trying to protect the image of America despite how horrible he is. And he's smart enough to use it. And so that's what's going down. Right. And that's why this is one of the criticisms I do hold against Biden, even though he never made this promise, which I pointed out at one point as well. What Trump did so well was he turned the light on all the deficiencies in our government system.
he sure did,
He
didn't he?
shined the light bright as hell. And one thing you did not do, Mr. Biden, is go in and start advocating for the
Whoa.
reforms to fix the holes in the system.
That's because he's a part of
Mm.
the
Instead, you came
system.
in. Well, instead he came in and he said, "I'm going to take us back to where we respected norms." That does not fix anything.
Show
That just
Tony.
means you're going to do what you're supposed to do, and you're going to be a good Mr. President, and you're going to follow the old rules, and that's wonderful. That's 4 to 8 years of decency. But you didn't fix the holes.
Yeah.
So somebody else is going to come right behind you, and they're going to be like,
And undo everything
yeah.
you did. All right,
I'm gonna
everybody,
get my
Um,
shuttle.
we got to move on to real or nah. I actually got two of these and I apologize, but I couldn't figure out which one was, I don't know, say worse. I don't know if it's worse or whatever. I didn't know which one to play, so I just decided to play both of them. So the first one is "Don't Mess with My Niece."
On this day, I went to the store to grab a few things. I was checking out. When a few registers over, the fun begins. Now, I didn't hear exactly what set the Karen off, but she was yelling and screaming at this poor worker, calling her useless, lazy, and just acting like the poor girl had kicked a bag of puppies off a cliff. The poor employee was probably still in high school, maybe 5 feet tall, and if she weighed over 90 pounds, I'd be shocked. The girl was also very Caucasian, blonde hair, and blue eyes. Karen's now throwing things at this poor girl, who's apologizing and trying not to cry, when all of a sudden our hero steps in. This beautiful, almost 6 foot tall, elderly woman of color comes up, and in the most terrifying mom voice that I've ever heard says, "Oh, hell no. Not today, Satan. I know this Karen's not over here messing with my niece." The woman then begins removing her earrings in the most dramatic way possible, looking like she's ready for battle. She then says, "I'm about to go to jail today. Lord, I hope somebody got some bail money because no one messes with my baby." At this point, the whole front end of the store is frozen. Karen looks around, sees no support, no manager, no police, as this woman is preparing to destroy her. The Karen actually apologizes to the woman for berating her niece. She then squeaks and runs out of the store as fast as she can, and the woman just bursts out laughing after. She then looks at the poor cashier and asked, "Baby, are you okay?" Now, I don't know what happened afterwards, and I hope she got a family discount because she's my hero.
Okay, I was gonna say no, but it was at the point like she apologized and
I want to believe this is real. That's what I want to believe. Not sure if I actually do
I,
believe it, but I want to believe it.
I've heard people use all of the language.
Okay.
not only do I think it's real, but I also wouldn't put it past that this wasn't even her niece.
Right.
Okay, now that part I figured out.
It wasn't her niece. I think that was the point.
Like she was blonde, the cashier, and she was
Yeah, but you could be white and be
woman
with
of color.
somebody. I mean, I got a white
I get that. I think that they were making that point to say they weren't actually
right.
But sorry.
But no, I definitely think it could be real.
I can't believe this story. I'm sorry.
There's a part of me that's saying no.
I can't. I can't believe somebody in this day and age. I can't believe somebody who's throwing a full Karen tantrum, who's acting that way, and a black comes and acts that way, and all of a sudden,
I'm sorry.
Fear. No, this is the part where you put on your Karen tears, you fall to the floor, you're being, oh my God, somebody save me, I'm being attacked.
You have a bad understanding of what a Karen does, brother. So a Karen only flares up and acts that way when backup and protection is at hand. So when she got to deal with a sister straight up head on, she starts. They almost always back down because they ain't about that life, right? And remember that Victoria's Secret video from a while back?
Yeah.
Right. Now, in that particular case, that girl has some issues. and she actually tried to run up until she saw that camera, and then she fell on the floor and started crying. So turn off the video, turn off the,
her kicking
But
her legs
generally,
and everything. Yes.
yeah, but generally, no, they ain't about that life, dog. They, if there was a police officer somewhere nearby, or security, or the manager was there, then yeah, she would have stayed, barking and barking and stuff. But when she thinks she about to put their hands on her, yeah, she out. I think anyway.
It just went a little too smoothly
It went too
into the I'm
smoothly. It's like,
sorry
wait a minute.
and
I can see the black woman intervening on behalf of a child.
yeah.
Okay, that part makes sense. But you just go. Nobody says, "Hey, Karen, stop it." Nobody else.
No one
Everybody.
does.
No,
They
That's
never
where.
do.
No, I got. That's where I got a
They will
hard time believing.
intervene on the black woman before they'll ever intervene on the white woman.
well, I even go one
That
step
is the
further. I
society
go
we
one
live
step
in.
further. I know I can tell you exactly when they would intervene after a violent attack happened. They ain't going to intervene because you verbally getting cussed
But
out.
you're gonna let a 16-year-old
Yeah,
Caucasian woman get attacked?
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. Unless she gets touched, they
If
will
that
stand there
Karen
and be
would have
like,
put
"Oh
her
my
hand
gosh,
on
can you
that little
believe this?"
girl, that's what everybody would have intervened.
Yes,
That's a
that's a little
physical
girl.
assault. But
Basically,
verbally, no, absolutely not.
somebody would have stepped up and said, "Hey, wait a minute, Karen."
Absolutely not.
America has shown you no one's going to step up. That's not how people work.
They don't.
Unless, it's the guy who choked the man out to death on the subway train, and we don't want to see that, right? Generally, people will stand by and they will record you getting assaulted or harmed before they will ever involve themselves because they're afraid of getting sued. They're afraid of getting hurt. They're afraid of the anger being directed at them now. There's so many things that people run through their heads, and that's why people will stand by, and it's been documented. They will watch a woman be sexually assaulted, record it happening so they can turn it over to the police, but not intervene. Or when people get jumped on, any number of things. It's a sad
I
state
do
of.
understand that is the norm. I have seen people display videos where people are actually standing up. The gentleman who was yelling about, America doesn't have an official language, jackass. Like there are people who I would have to say, hey, if I saw a
I'm saying, yeah, a
16-year-old,
16-year-old child be like, "Look, Karen, fight somebody your own age."
What's the line?
If she's a minor, I'm
what's
stepping in.
But is she okay? So if she appears to be a minor to you, then I would say because
No, wait a minute, let me backtrack that. If she's anybody, if I see you throwing
anybody?
cans at anybody, I'm gonna say, "Hey, look, Karen, stop it."
Yeah.
Before I call the police.
Oh,
Dang,
did you
I
introduce
don't know what just happened.
yourself?
It's probably my phone. I don't know.
Things got so bad.
He just left. Just
Like I'm saying, I know that we are not the norm. We are in the minority. But I've seen videos I have been a part of, hey, behave better.
I
It's
guess I'll just learn the hard way that you waiting on the good Samaritan just let you. It's not going to end well for you.
you don't wait on them, but they are out there. I
they
guess
exist.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
agree with
Yeah,
you.
just
They're
like
far in
yeah, this
between few.
yeah.
I agree with that part, but I'm
Batman was
like,
real to some people too.
what?
I don't hold out. I don't hold out much faith in humanity for being active in a timely manner. Because if so, there have been a lot more interventions in our society than we've ever seen. That doesn't mean it's not happening. There are good people out
yep,
there. If there
yep,
weren't good people, then the world would be a horrible, 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 horrible place.
right.
But that's
It's an
not
outlier.
how collective. It's like you get a collective stasis that can kick in.
Yes, as I
Hey,
keep on repeating, we know it's not the norm, but yeah, there's even a segment on Dr. Rashad Ritchie's Indisputable show that he calls Antica the Anti-Karens. And he displays videos of people who do actually step up. No, it is not anywhere near the number of Karen videos that he has. But they're
they
out there.
should step up. People should step up. I think we
People
all can agree on
should.
that. Should, but like they said, we're scared. We don't want to
Mm-hmm.
get sued. We don't get arrested. Step it.
You get punished for doing the right thing. So you have to be at a
Right.
point where you're okay with taking the punishment for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that happens.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Unfortunately,
Yep.
No.
step in, you protect the life of a child. You're in jail, huh? How did it?
I'd be in jail proudly then.
I'm like, hey, y'all put my people in here anyway. I guess I'd be another one because I'm just. You're not gonna just throw something at another human being. Hey, I didn't tell you about my I stopped a Karen story, but we don't got enough time for me to tell my Karen story.
No, we don't. Sorry.
Sometime though, I want to hear
Yeah,
that.
just remind me, Anna, when we do the next episode of High Heels and Blue Jeans, remind me to tell my I stopped the Karen story.
Deal.
All right, let's move on to the next real or not video. Is I'm not gonna say the story isn't real. I'm just saying these have made it perfectly clear that you really got to pay attention of it's the OP's point of view. So just keep that in mind.
Talk to me? I'm writing this right now at the hotel where I'm staying because I'm genuinely at a loss for words. I don't think that I'm in the wrong, but at the same time, she looks really pissed at me. Me, my wife, and our 2-year-old are going on our first family road trip to California. We rotate driving in shifts, but the problem is that when I was driving, my shift fell during the night, and so I was feeling really lonely and bored as I was driving. I'm not someone who can be left to his own thoughts very well, and I need people around me. I thrive on energy and excitement. My wife is a bit of the opposite. She's generally fine with being left alone and can sit quietly for hours and hours upon end. The problem is that around 11 p.m., I was driving and my wife and our son were in the back seat. I was feeling isolated, so I shook her awake, but then our son woke up, and, well, you can probably guess what happened next. Once he stopped crying, my wife began to quietly blow up about how much of a dick I was being. I told her that it wasn't fair for her to just sleep like that, and it made me feel like a driver. What? She then said that she doesn't force me to stay awake or engage with her, but I told her that's a cheap blow because we're not the same people. And I kept my mouth shut while she was driving because I know she doesn't like distractions, even though it bothered me terribly. So the least she could do is stop being selfish and keep me sane. Despite my perfectly logical answer... Alright, hold on. This feels like a troll. I think this is a troll. This sentence, this is a bit too obvious, isn't it, you guys? Despite my perfectly logical answer, she apparently got emotional and then started whisper screaming about how raising one toddler is hard enough and that she did know there was another one in the car who needed his whims catered to at every moment. And at that point, since she got rude, I decided to disengage. Now our whole family is falling apart and she's making me out to be the bad guy.
Oh, no, she didn't. This isn't. No, unfortunately, I think this is real. I think this one is real.
My only comment is I hate the narrator's voice and reading style.
I need somebody to keep me away. That's what's called driving in shifts. And again, people, if you can afford it, there's this really big, beautiful mechanism. It's called an airplane. I know air fees are expensive, but then you could take a train. Do things that will avoid you having to drive. These long road trips are not a good idea. They just are not.
I got a cheaper thing for you. It's called an AirPod. Put some doggone pause in your head, and listen to the radio, and shut the hell up.
No,
You
not
won't
like
feel
you
lonely.
driving.
Yeah.
No, you're not supposed to wear them when you driving, right?
You're not supposed to have anything in your ears when you're driving.
Yeah, because you gotta hear the sounds around you. Yeah,
you,
Marlon, don't
So
be.
my passengers are just gonna have to hear some music. If
yeah.
you
They
sleepy
sure
enough, you'll
are.
go to sleep. You'll go to sleep. Don't worry.
hmm
Now, what I was listening for this dude to say was, I started getting sleepy, so I
Yep.
woke her up to keep me company. But he
That's
never
what I
did
thought.
that.
Nope.
His whole thing was, I got
Um,
bored and I wanted somebody to play with. Oh,
I want to party.
oh, okay.
That's what's called driving in shifts, you immature little schmuck.
You come up with the most.
Yeah, I ain't never heard that before. That was,
I heard it, but it's been so long ago since I've heard it. Smuck.
Schmuck.
I mean,
I think that's my
schmuck.
phone. My
I've
phone
heard
ain't
that.
acting right, y'all.
Oh, okay.
He was bored, so he woke her up. You let me tell y'all something about me. What it's gonna take to be with me. You wake me up. Wake me up when I'm in that good sleep, that good like that good sleep, like that good deep sleep, and you wake me up, we getting ready to fight. We are going to fight. Period.
So they can't even wake you up before they go?
It better be a good darn reason besides I want to have fun. You better not wake me up for some mess like that. Do it. We gonna fight.
So I can't wake you up and ask you to look up like a route on a map.
Girl, that's what they got GPS for. Don't you wake me up. Don't you wake me up. No. You don't wake a person up like me. You let me just sleep. Just let me snore because I do snore. Just let me snore and go on to sleep and leave me alone. And when I wake up, I'll be fine. Don't.
I guess everybody missed my joke, but oh well. Okay.
No, I got it.
I
You
didn't.
didn't get it?
I
I'm
just couldn't
sorry?
think of the next line because I always
I
remembered
can't
it
remember
wrong.
the next line.
Oh,
I
wake
literally
me up
cannot.
before you
Don't leave
go
me hanging on the side of
low.
So
Yeah,
Yo or something.
I
that's
can't
song by
remember
George
the next
Michael.
line.
Yeah, I
I'm
just
Wake
I
me
I
just
want
now
an
got it.
extra serving of
before you
froyo. I don't know.
go. When it's hanging in like a. What the
Waking
hell was
me
that?
up.
Wham.
You waking me up because you bored? You're bored.
Oh, that's Wham. I thought it was the Pet Shop Boys.
No,
That was
that's
Wham.
they sing West End Girls and West End Boys.
Okay, who did Uptown Girl?
Billy Joel.
Billy.
Oh, Billy
Joel.
Joel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm missing somebody.
But hey, I'm having some trouble with my connection, so I might have to drop off, y'all.
All right. If you drop off and you don't come back, then
If so, have a great night.
have a great weekend. I'll see you in
Mhm.
2 weeks and all that jazz. For everybody else that can stay, Foxy's videos of the week. And this, it may be a southern thing that's going on right now. My laptop dropped connection like 3-4 times. And at one
Well, I'm on
point,
my phone,
no,
so
it was the
sometimes
internet.
the
It was the
driver.
internet that wasn't doing anything. It would just
Oh
drop.
no, I have phenomenal internet. What I have is a phone that decides occasionally it doesn't want to be on Wi-Fi, so it'll stop being on Wi-Fi. But then it needs a second to flip itself back over to 5G. And so during that time you get that weirdness.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. And then, surprisingly enough, this guy is talking exactly of the place that I'm heading down to.
Oh no.
I have friends that are scared to come to Florida right now because of the recent bills that DeSantis has passed. they're scared to come down here. Stay free of charge. Even I'll pay for their flight to come down here because they're gay. I have family and I have friends that don't align with the Republicans' point of view. And they're worried that some gun-toting, racist, homophobic, misogynistic asshole is going to shoot them in the street for being themselves. They're worried that if they do get shot, that some doctor with some religious point of view isn't going to treat them and save their lives because of these new bills that have passed. That's happening right now. And everywhere else in the country is warning their communities to not come to this state because you Republicans are so proud of yourselves and you're combining religion to make this place not a safe state to come. It is a beautiful state. But at this point, you can't polish a turd. The people in this state make it disgusting. But I'm sticking here. I'm going to stand up for my friends. I'm standing up for my family because I love them. Because I actually can love someone. Whereas somehow you guys don't even know what love is. And I'm sorry if you had a bad childhood, or I'm sorry that your parents raised you that way. But I can tell you this, I'm disappointed in you.
It's good that you got guys like that out there. That's wonderful. I hope he holds that line and he's there as things continue to deteriorate. There have always been allies, friends, associates, or whatnot throughout history. That's cool. My issue is this. We shouldn't be having to go back through this shit. I told everybody this shit was coming 10 years ago, 15 years ago. As soon as Obama was nominated, I said this shit's coming. And then it just kept rolling downhill, and here we are. So me personally, I say to black folks, don't take your ass to Florida. Even the NAACP put out a travel advisory saying, don't take your black ass to Florida. Now, does that mean something bad's going to happen just because you go to Florida? No. But that's where it's headed, right? It's openly, the government structure is openly hostile to black people, Latino people, because they think you're all illegal,
Right.
and anyone who's a part of the queer community, if they can identify you.
Yep.
So, I mean, how many damn groups you need them to be? But like I said, that doesn't mean you can't go. Have a good time, be safe. Just make sure you keep your head on a swivel and enjoy yourself. Come on back. I got friends who live down in Florida, and I'm just like, I know it's hard. You can't just up and leave. So, wish them the best. I got family out in Texas too. I'm like, this is certain places, man. Florida, Texas, Tennessee, and Ohio. I don't want no parts of none of them.
Alabama.
I mean, listen.
But I'm saying the four I named are the ones that are like actively doing a lot of stuff. Alabama's Alabama. Like, that's like Mississippi.
Alabama was the one that literally tried to put all black people in one cluster.
Yeah, I'm just saying, y'all all here. And you got to get
they're not alone. That's that gerrymandering thing. That's all across the South. Across the South.
Can I keep this real? What state isn't this like in if you're not a conservative state? I mean, we can name a handful. You got the New York.
If you're what?
What state in our country isn't like Florida?
California, Georgia.
No, wait a minute.
If you're not.
If you're, and my other point was, if you're not in a blue state, which is like California,
Georgia,
Oregon, Washington. I know I live in a red state.
Oregon has a lot of
Oregon
people,
has a lot of
it has trouble.
Yeah, Oregon's got a lot of problems. Better than Indiana. I mean, here's how I describe Indiana to anybody out there.
Mm-hmm.
What Florida and Texas does, we take it to the next level. We just take what they do and say, nah.
I don't know. I think Ohio is trying to. Ohio is trying to make sure you ain't on their level because Ohio stays being like the Alabama of the Midwest. They go hard.
We got it locked down. Where DeSantis had a 6-week abortion ban. I mean, he said, no, that's not good enough for us. We just gonna ban it. We're just period.
Which is wild because like I don't know this. I'm making this number up, so it's more illustrative, right? But like 60% of the population lives in the blue areas and the blue states, right?
Yeah.
So, but because of the way our system is structured,
They get the most
it
house
doesn't
seats.
matter.
Nope.
This
So
is
like
what
all
makes
this stuff that we're doing with the vote, which is important, get out there and vote for. I mean, you can overcome gerrymandering to an extent with turnout. Can't fully overcome it, but you can overcome it to an extent with turnout.
Mhm.
And you can definitely control Senate games with turnout. But the presidential race,
We've never had a say in the president. We've
this is
never
what
had a say in this.
makes me
as
so.
long as you got the electoral college out there, the
Oh,
Midwest
let
is
me
sitting
correct
out there like,
myself.
hey, we got you.
I
This
said
is what makes
something
me so
wrong.
sad about my
Wrong.
state.
Oh,
Sorry,
I'm
let me say
sorry.
this just real quickly. This is what makes me so sad about this state/city that I live in. The city that I live in really don't deal with this type of stuff that goes on in Florida, that goes on in South Carolina, that goes on in Georgia, that goes on in Alabama, that goes on in Mississippi. We don't. That they ain't got jack squat to do with progressive. We ain't got to deal with it because we are the second biggest banking industry in the United States. We will look more for lawsuits before doing something right. In other words, why some of the stuff that don't happen in the city that I stay in, we don't want to lose money. If money was not an option, yeah. Remember that story that I did last week or 2 weeks ago when we was talking about the people who were thinking that the state legislature should have all the power to make decisions about the votes that come in? Yeah, that was from my state.
Yeah, North Carolina was the first one to jump
Yep.
on the weakening of the Voters' Rights Act.
What's that?
But like you said,
Oh wow.
the blue splotches is where
Yeah,
things are different, right? So like
Yeah.
Charlotte, I think Raleigh, and then you come down here at Metro Atlanta,
Yep.
Savannah, Augusta, right? You go down to Florida, you got what Tampa,
Miami,
Orlando,
Not
right?
Miami.
Miami for
But
some reason, which I've never
that's
understood.
because Miami is where old people go to retire from up north. So the conservatives just move to the
Oh
south.
yeah, that would make
And then you
sense.
got the Cubans who are who descend from the Cubans who were oppressing people in Cuba and got ran off into America. And so they have very conservative leanings here because the Republican Party is very good at marketing anti-socialist, even though American socialism is nothing like the socialism they say they were running from.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to the light-skinned Cubans out there, but track your history and really look at why your family ended up here in America. For the most part, they were the ruling class in Cuba who were oppressing the Afro-Cubans. And when the
Mhm.
Afro Cubans rose up under Castro and yo got ran your asses up out of there, that's where that division came down. So, yes, you were against socialism, but really you were against totalitarianism and you were against the revolution. It was okay when you were in power to
Ah.
you.
I want to
Tracy,
So,
make a
now
yeah.
Tracy, go ahead.
Okay, so I
politics
want
are
to make
complicated.
a correction to something I said. I said Indiana has outlawed abortion. That is not the case. Indiana has a 6-week law, so it's
Might
six
as well
weeks.
be.
I just wanted to make that
6 weeks.
distinction
I
because
mean, like, and that right there,
But
man, that
I know
annoys
you
me. And
don't
I
know
know
you're
I'm a
pregnant.
dude.
I'm just saying.
mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I just want to, I don't want to be like misleading
But
people.
I know, and I
Yeah,
get that, but
Florida's
they
six
know what
weeks
they're
now,
doing.
too.
They're trying to make it as close as possibly that by the time you find out that you are pregnant, there's nothing you can do about it. That's
Right.
all
And
they're
they're
really
gonna.
doing.
I mean, look for birth control to be next. I got money on saying they're gonna
I'm
outbate.
looking at birth control to be next. That
It's
is next.
already they're
No,
Yeah,
I'm
already
talking
they're
about.
going
already
for
on it.
I don't know
We
what state is
Yeah.
birth control banned in.
right now in
No,
this
Clarence
They
Thomas
are
and Amy
looking.
Comey Barrett are going to see, and Alito are going to see to it that they manufacture a ruling
Oh yeah, they'll
on
just
that
get
one.
somebody to make something up. Just make a case up. Do
Yeah,
like that one lady did. Just make it up.
They're
yeah.
already
And it looks
banning
as a
certain
matter of fact, hold
medications that
on.
you would need to work for birth control. I,
yep.
Yeah,
I
they
Here is a
can't
judgment
remember the
right
outlawed.
name. I'll need to look it
Well,
up
the
because
judge, the
on my phone.
the federal judge, stopped them from being able to stop a misoprene or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He was able to stop that, but it's on a stay, so it's not actually holding. So I think it's still going to have to work itself back through the system again.
Yeah. And or the
Because you
FDA could
had
just
one
say
federal judge that said no and another one that said yes. So
yes.
now they're
Yep.
like at a loggerhead. But it was like the one that is 99 point whatever effective and pain free is the one they stopped. The one that's like, I don't know, 92%, 95%, that one's still widely available. But the thing
Right.
is, those two are supposed to be used together
Together.
But I
to
think you can
achieve the,
use one
like,
of them if you just had to use
you
one of them
can.
by themselves. And I forget which one it is.
And the one that you can use by yourself is the one that's not
As
under
a fact.
question at
Yeah,
the
because
moment, but
I
that's the
thought
one
the
that's less effective
FDA
and more
could
painful.
step in. I thought the FDA, according to what I was reading a couple weeks ago, that they were going to step in because the FDA has jurisdiction and can say, "Hey, it's
Ah,
legal."
well, so
That's
that's
what
the
I
other
saw.
problem. If you look at some of the decisions that the Supreme Court has been working on over the last 2 or 3 years, one of the ones they ruled on last year was about taking away the authority from the FDA. So they were taking away or government entities from being able to establish their own rules and guidelines and kicking it back to Congress. So all these things work together. Like they take pieces apart along the way so that when it's time to actually get you, they can get you. That's how they got rid of the Roe v. Wade. They didn't go right at Roe
Well,
v.
no,
Wade.
they didn't.
First,
Well,
they had to weaken the 14th Amendment protections. After they weakened those protections and they could get to the privacy angle, then they went and
that was the
got
wrong angle to go. But
abortion.
let's be clear because I like to always be correct. Roe v. Wade is not in some states you can still get an abortion. California, New York, Illinois, Washington, Oregon, those two states. The rest of us know, but there are states you can still get a legal abortion. Or or if you're in the military. If you serve in the military, you can still get an abortion.
right. That's
And
why
they're working on
that's
fixing
why they
that one as
started.
well because there's legislation right now that is trying to block service members from being able to travel to another facility or location to receive medical care
Yeah,
because
Not
we
just
got
service
they're
briefed
doing
on
it.
that. Yup.
Yeah, they're
not
doing it
just
under the
not just service
pretenses.
members though. Not just service members. They are trying to block people from going to any state
And
where
that's not
No,
abortion
I
even
is
agree,
gonna
allowed.
that's
but
not
I'm
gonna
saying,
hold win. How you gonna tell
but that's
somebody,
what I'm
oh,
saying. They
can't
go
go
by
to
pieces.
Illinois?
They take it in pieces.
Yeah.
So when there was the carve out for people, well, if because remember at one point they were saying, "Hey Biden, why don't you make it so that people can go on to federal properties and
Mhm.
they
Yep.
can thereby be able to do it?" That was what they were trying to do. Well, once
Mhm.
that went into the air, or they're probably already working on it, now you got this thing where they're trying to control where service members can go. Because if I can get to the service members because they're fully under the umbrella of the federal government, then I can set a new precedent. And that will now help with blocking some of the things that are happening in the states. Because,
And
see, right now, state by state, they're trying to block you from going to different states. But those are
and which
state laws. So they have to be reciprocal by the other state.
Mhm.
If we can get it federal, then you can't go nowhere.
that's your next step. If Mike Pence and Lindsey Graham get their way, that's the next step.
Yes, they want a national ban. They're
And
going to call it a
Yeah.
six
that's gonna
week thing or something, but they want a
yeah.
national ban.
And this isn't even an issue. I think like what 70% of Americans are pro-choice. Like something somewhere,
Yeah,
some number way up there. What,
yeah,
we
it's
No,
in the
got
that's
more.
70s,
that's always been the problem.
but that's always the case.
Recently, for America, has always been the problem. It isn't that the majority is agreeing with these rulings. It's that the minorities of these rulings are the loudest ones.
Yep, they got the most
And it
And they
money.
makes
get
it
the power.
sound like
They got the power. They
and
got
they
the
got the
money and the
power where it makes
influence.
it sound like all majority of America agrees with everything we say. And that's why I constantly keep saying I'm not harping on the fact that it's not being done, but that's why I say I get sick and tired of hearing certain churches and evangelicals that's doing these things and certain Christians that's saying these things, knowing that they effing wrong, and the people who are on the right side of history who disagree with absolutely everything that they're saying, but they're not saying it out loud. And that is what bothers me. That you
Well,
just
that
feel
bothers
like
me, but
I want to keep
I
it to
don't. I'm not going to
myself
agree with
and
that
don't
statement.
say
I do
nothing.
think there's activists saying
that
things.
bothers me as well, Marlon. But that also goes to the other point we've talked about before, in that they're not the ones who are vocally supportive and things like that. They're not being given the microphone, so
Microphone.
they're
Thank you.
doing their work. They're doing their work in their parishes and in their churches and whatnot, but they're not out in the street doing stuff like that. And so that's where we get like the impression you and I have, where they're just not being vocal enough. And I don't think they are. I really don't think they are being vocal enough. But I can't say they're not doing anything, right? And then you have the media who does have the bullhorn, and they're always flipping it and playing it from a different angle because they want to keep us all at odds with each other. So they don't really care. They're playing both sides of every argument. And then you got, like you were saying, the minority. They've been working since the 70s when all this stuff got put in place to give people rights. They started working really hard to get rid of them. So this is a 50-year project for them, and they finally got into the right positions. They got the right climate in America where people weren't paying attention to politics. So now they are your dog catcher, your city council, your senator,
School board.
your mayor. They are all the levels, even though they're like 20% of the population. But they're 20% of the population that holds 70, 80% of the
But I
power.
think they're willing to do something that we're not. They're willing to actually run for, not that I'm willing to do this, but they're willing to run for office. They're willing to run for school boards and city councils and state reps. Not so much on
There's
our
money
side.
behind them.
Yep.
What are you going to say, Anna?
Of course, there's money on our side.
What you gonna
On
say,
their
Anna?
side.
Why we are not speaking up a lot is the safety of the people we are helping.
That's a good point.
I
Yeah.
would agree with you, Anna, except for one thing, and it's one of my old statements. Boy, y'all always bringing out these old statements I ain't used in a long time. The other reason why I started this show to begin with, you're going to do it anyway. Like I can't take that argument anymore. The reason why you don't say something is because you don't want this to happen. When I done seen all the while, you're still going to do the damage that you already was going to do anyway. So I get what you're saying, but the threats that you
We not following you.
okay, let me go back a little bit. Who are you protecting by not saying anything?
The women who are trying to access health care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you not think if you had said absolutely nothing, they would still be protected?
So I think I know where you're going, but here's the thing. They're fighting in the shadows now, and I think part of the argument you're making, because it's an argument I've made in the past, is when there was the opportunity to fight in the light, you didn't fight. When you were able to be out in broad daylight and you could be loud and you could get in position and you could be an advocate and you can be an activist and you could be all these things, regardless of your issue, like the issues I hold dear, the issues some like you hold dear, what have you, we weren't proactive and engaged enough when we weren't under threat, right?
Right.
And so now we're in a defensive crouch because now we're in the shadow. Now you understand that even though it's a vocal minority, that minority is able to and willing to cause physical harm to people. So
Yeah.
you have to now quietly take this young lady from Indiana and get her to
Mhm.
Oregon, right? You have
Yeah.
to do it
Illinois.
quietly now because you didn't do the right fight when the lights were on,
But who?
Right.
Okay,
right?
so
So,
that's
and
Right.
you can and we can
I get,
begrudge
I
that
get
all
what
we
you
want, but you
okay.
can't go back and get that, right? You can't go back now. So
There's
now we have to fight from the shadows until we can get ourselves in position to mount an offensive. And my concern is that the left is so fragmented that there won't be an offensive. It's going to be everybody scattered to the wind. Oh, I don't like how you talk about religion, so I'm going to go this way. Oh, I don't like how you talk about trans, so I'm going to go this way. Oh, right. We're all so fragmented that we're going to run off into our separate camps. Meanwhile, this little group over here that wants to hurt everybody,
is gaining
they're
more power.
walking in lockstep.
See, that's
So
where
we did
that's
it
what my concern
so
is.
close to the time that Roe versus Wade fell, and I got into as much detail as I could. And I explained that there actually were a coalition that the amount of organizations that suddenly said, okay, we're all going to be working together, it really surprised me. But yeah, yes, it's right. We didn't do what we should have done, and now we are trying to keep people as safe as we can. We've already seen that they're putting people in jail. They're
And my point is, you got to do it anyway. That's what I try to tell people. You got to do it
and they're
anyway.
doing
When
it.
we build this, they're going to come and they're going to burn it all down, like they would say about Black Wall Street, things like that. But we build it, it's going to come tear it down. Yes, they will. I guarantee you, they will. The the
They
the
will.
the sociopathy of the white culture in America is if I see someone that's supposed to be behind me starting to catch up with me, I must destroy it. That's the sociopathy of this nation. So you know
Mhm.
they're coming. That doesn't mean you don't still build it because you still have to do the things you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know that they're going to come and lock you up because you decided to hide this young lady in your home so that you could transport her somewhere else. You know, if they find out and somebody snitches on you, they're coming for you. You got to be
Yep.
willing to do it anyway. You know, if you
Yep.
go out there and you march in the streets and you're
And
complaining
then
about police officers killing somebody, you know they're going to come and arrest you, but you got to be willing to do it anyway. Whatever it is you're passionate about, you have to find a way to fight it. Me personally, I believe in guerrilla warfare. So I say sometimes you're going to have to be up front, but a lot of times you got to work behind the scenes. And that's unfortunately just where you are when you're behind enemy lines, when you're outnumbered, right? So some of the stuff that that they're doing is not the same thing because it's not the same level of persecution by a long shot. But for a woman who wants to exercise her right over her body, like bodily autonomy, they're having to actually hide, like they did. This is a bad analogy, but it fits. Like during the time when the Nazis were chasing down Jews and Germans who were Jewish sympathizers,
safe
they
house.
had to
Yeah.
hide them in attics and hide them in basements. And no, she's not Jewish, or no, she's not trying to have an abortion. This is my niece who came to
Mhm.
visit, right? All that stuff, it's happening. But now what's going to be a problem I foresee is that all these efforts, all these Herculean tasks, all this bravery that's happening all around the country has to be quiet now. They have to be more engaged and more active than they've ever been, but they have to be quiet or else they can't help who they can help. And in that silence, such is our dysfunction that we will assume they're not doing anything. So we
And
will then create more of an environment that makes it harder for them to do their work.
Which
Because
is
now they're
why
getting
I
criticism
try to
from
speak
both
up as
sides.
much as I possibly
but
can.
Gene,
Like I've been giving
Gene,
you as much information as I can. But
I
even I
agree.
don't know everything. Like I only have a couple of contacts, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, because
I
they're
will
trying.
point people to the Underground Railroad and point people to the Green Book and point people to Schindler's List.
Yep.
You learn about those three things, and you will see that the movement is eternal. The tactics are always similar. This is where we're headed. We're not there yet. We can still make noise and we can still make moves and we can still do things. We can still exercise freedoms, but it's all under threat. And it's already happening, which is one thing I really wish people would get through their heads, that things that occur, right? They come up in the news. Lord, they passed this law, they passed that thing, the Supreme Court did this thing. That is just part of cause and effect, folks. I mean, get upset about it. That's cool. I get it. But you'll notice I don't really get upset because to me, this is all a consequence of what's already in motion. Now, what we have to do is put new things in motion so that when they come into the light, they're the new consequence. But are you willing to work for the next 5 years to see that happen? I don't know.
Go ahead, Tracy.
I got so many thoughts on this. I agree with Anna 100%. This whole you're not doing anything, and I know I say that about the Biden administration because I truly believe it. But in terms of activism, I'm not gonna say because I don't see it, it's not there. I don't work in the women's autonomy movement as much as I would like to because my focus is Medicare for all, and that's where it is, and that's what it's gonna be. But that doesn't mean.
Hold on.
Let me backtrack this. So I was once at a meeting. I was talking about the march and the virtual march and how important this is. And somebody was like, a march isn't going to do anything. And I said, maybe not, but I'm doing something. What is it that you're doing? And that's what I wanted. When I hear people saying, oh, the activists aren't doing anything. Well, okay, let's just say that's true. Let's just say that's absolutely positively true. So what are you doing? That's what I asked him. I'm like, okay, you're saying I'm wrong for having this march. I don't believe I was. I believe that guy was a troll, but hey, that's just, I'd have to give you the history of that, and I'm not trying to teach a history lesson. But I will say morally, especially because you brought it up, you said, well, nobody's saying anything. Just because you don't hear it doesn't mean somebody's not saying it. I mean, I've heard preachers for years, and I'm talking about since I was a little girl, speak out about these. Y'all call them Christians. I don't know what I call them because I'm like, y'all wolves in sheep's clothing. As far as I'm concerned, the caution is being thrown, but because nobody's hearing it, oh well, y'all not saying anything. What is it that we're supposed to do? We're saying, hey, beware. Don't look at them. Don't listen to them. I don't know what else we're supposed to do.
Let me back up a little bit and explain myself on two fronts. Thanks, Tracy, that you gave me a second front. I had one. When I said it was going to do it anyway, let's go back to good old Lindsey Graham. When I said that it was going to do it in anyway, he created that statement for me when Obama had 1 year left in office. It was time to get a new Supreme Court justice. He nominated, they said that it was too late. He don't have that much time.
No, it's too close to the election.
It's
Too
the
close to the
election.
election, and he shouldn't be able to pick the new Supreme Court justice. Fast forward, Trump, who is on his way out the door, not up to the election. He's on his way out the door.
Yeah, 3.
We know it.
With months left. Lindsey Graham said I'm not even gonna say on record, like somewhere you can read this. No, on film.
On camera.
You can YouTube it right now as I speak it out of my mouth. That if it was the same situation with a Republican president, would you say it? He looked at you straight in the face and said, no, I would do the exact same thing. You have me on camera saying that if it was a different president, I would not change anything I said.
Well, at least a little
Lo and
Lion Creek
behold,
told the
guess
truth.
what happened? You did it anyway. That was
But
why
that's not the.
well, that wasn't. That's why I said that's why I got the statement. You're going to do it anyway.
Mhm.
Stop telling me
Yeah.
if you didn't do this, I wouldn't do this. No, you're a liar. You're going to do it regardless if I do something or not. Because your agenda tells you have to do A, B, and C. Not for reaction because for something we did.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
Marlon,
let me
real
go.
quick.
Hold on, Theo. Let me say this real quick. That goes into the category of police brutality in this country, where you comply, where you do what they tell you to do, where you follow their orders, and nothing happened. And we have pointed out time after time after time after time after time that was a lie. It's not true. You was going to do it anyway.
Mhm.
Stop telling us if you don't do this, we wouldn't do this. You are a liar. That's not a true statement.
What does that have to do with activism?
Yeah, that's what I was like.
The activism part
Wow.
is, and I guess I changed my stance slightly, but I do change my stance. I'm just so frustrated with, and I did get caught up. I'll admit that I get caught up that the minorities are the loudest. I forgot that was for design. But I forgot that was designed because America has always been like that anyway for the longest time. That we always go to the what's a better word saying this? We always go to the most disastrous freaking things known to mankind and make it newsworthy and play it 50 million times. Meanwhile, when we have something good that goes on, we play it what 10 seconds, 15 seconds
If
before
we
the
We,
mention it,
newscast
that's
goes
we
off
fine.
the
are
air.
adrenaline junkies.
Drama
We
and
are
trauma sells.
And that's my
Yeah.
whole point. Like I
drama.
said, just because you don't hear about it, that doesn't mean that there's nobody saying anything. And I agree with these. The media, they decide who gets publicly. You know how hard it is
Yeah.
to fight against the system and use the media. First of all, they're not gonna hear you.
I
Let me.
have tried so
I
many
mean, you can
times to
write.
talk
You can.
about tick-borne infections and woo.
Yeah, but
Like, okay, I know that's not the like sexiest of topics,
and no,
but
to look
it's safety for
everybody.
everybody.
You can
Anna,
write press
But see,
releases.
I
You
got
could.
something new for you. I got something brand new for you. How many times have we talked about the atrocities of the past from the white community? How many years have we talked about what they've done to the black community, the indigenous people, the Latino community,
Mhm.
the disabled, the whatever? Name anybody other than rich white men. Put that in the category. What is the one video that we have had on this show for the last 3 years? 3 years. What was the video that had the most comments ever?
it was one of the Trump videos.
No.
It was the one y'all did last
We
week.
just one that me and Theus did. Should the black community be grateful to America?
Yeah.
Well, but
And
now
people wouldn't shut
Oh,
the hell up.
wow.
one of the reasons why that happened, in my opinion, Marlon, is because you did a masterful job of putting together a video title that was designed to create chaos.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Because
agree with that.
that title allows a person to get exactly what they want out of what they think the video is going to be
It'd be
about.
about. Yep.
So if you
Mhm.
think black people should be more appreciative, that's the video you're going to click on. If you think, who the hell would even ask that question, that's the video that you're going to click on. So the color line will always be an effective one, and Trump will continue to be an effective one. Right now, my timeline on YouTube is flooded with however many discussions on white nationalism and Christian nationalism and their intersection, right? Because that's also all. I didn't know there was this many conversations happening out there, but they're all over the place, right?
Yep. Yep.
White folks trying to figure out what the heck is going on with our people.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah.
discussions are everywhere,
All I'm
right?
getting is
I
Kiki
really would
Palmer
like
shouldn't
to
have worn
thank
that
you.
dress to an Usher concert. That's all I'm
Because you
getting.
do a lot of entertainment stuff. So that's what's being fed to you. I do a lot of race conscious stuff. So that's what they're giving me. Like they're giving me the kind of stuff that if
Oh,
I
I
was
thought you was
just a
talking about
consumer,
Facebook.
it would piss me off. Huh?
I thought you were talking about Facebook. I didn't realize you were talking about YouTube.
No. Facebook, I don't really look at it that much anymore.
I don't.
I,
I really
I
don't.
go on, I like a few things. I might make a post every once in a while, but for the most part,
You know how many times I have liked Thea's comments on Facebook just to realize it was like 2-3 days ago. Like even
oh, that happens
Facebook
all the
don't
time, dog.
like I don't go on Facebook like that. Oh,
No, I
by
mean
the
like
way,
the
I really
algorithm's broke.
appreciate
I
you
don't
saying
go on Facebook.
I appreciate you saying that was a masterful way of titling that video. Um, yeah, you're making me a lot smarter than you're making me out to. That was literally the only title I could think of to say.
But it
I
was
think
perfect for generating that aspect.
I ain't
And
no
if you're
gonna
talking about
generate
an
It
algorithm that
invited
is
people.
obsessed with generating chaos and frustration, then it's going to move that up some, right?
Well,
So
it also invited
it
people
all
to
works
join the
together.
conversation. You asked a question.
Yeah, the
I got questions
conversation
on
didn't
all
give them
my
what they
stuff.
thought they were coming for.
Parker Roland Martin's video had the most views. It
but
did
not
not
the
have
most
the most
comments. I'm
comments.
like, boy, these people ain't gonna never
And
shut.
also remember that we should always be grateful to the white U.S. Union soldiers who are the reason why black slaves were freed.
Who said that?
Who said that shit?
I'm
We
about to
don't know
say a
him.
word that don't come out of my mouth. I'm like, who said this?
We don't know.
Somebody said that comment after a long
I'm like, it
Yeah, but
wasn't Roland
those are the
Martin.
people.
Because he
Joe
say some
Those are the
stuff
Random
I
people
out
who are
there.
disagree
being
with,
brought
but he
up.
ain't never said nothing that dumb.
Josephine.
what was the
Who
These are
American
the
knows?
people who
what
were
was it,
brought up
American
under the
Team Down or something like
situation
that?
where the
Team
ends
America?
justify the means.
Oh
You'll get
no.
that from the lost cause Southern
Oh yeah.
white population, right? Where they don't view themselves as being racist. They actually view themselves as saying, no, I will concede to you slavery was wrong. I will concede to
And
you
get over
that
it.
slavery shouldn't have happened.
Stop,
But
stop,
it
stop,
did
stop this.
happen. So,
Get
Stop, hold
over
on,
it.
stop this, because I mean I have to say this before you
Your
continue.
video.
No,
Oh.
I will concede to you. Every time you say something, I keep remembering these comments that come. I could understand that you had a unique history.
Unique.
Unique history.
there's one hell of a guest worker program, I tell you
Okay.
that.
So
No,
not
but
unique. We did it
Mandatory
For
overtime.
thousands upon thousands upon thousands
We were
Raise that
upon.
number,
money.
millions.
Millions. It's in the
100
millions.
million black bodies died over the course of slavery in America.
And he,
100 million. Most of which died, well, many of which died on the transport over here.
That didn't happen according to Ron DeSantis.
and don't get me wrong don't get me wrong because y'all keep thinking
Y'all's next
y'all really need
president.
to look at y'all history. Let me put it in a way that y'all
It's
understand.
making it hard for them to do
You
it now.
really understand that when you freed us, what was it? Rainbows and sunshine? That everything was cool now?
That's what the
That
boy they
that
be like.
we just
Yeah,
went into the
Abraham.
workers. We just work just like everybody else, and we got the same things that everybody else got. We got the same farmland as everybody. Let me give you a history lesson. For the first time in your life, do something for me. Look up 40 acres and a mule and see what a fucking screw job that was.
Man, you did
You're
a
gonna
video
steal
on that.
land from one grup of people,
Oh,
No,
then give it to.
oh
Then say
another
you're
God.
gonna give
one.
it to
Did I
another
do
group
a
of
video
people,
This
on
but then
40
take it for
You
acres and a
yourself.
did.
mule?
This is something that I have found that even the best well-meaning white people simply don't know. Right? And then I'm not even talking about your foaming at the mouth racists. I'm just talking about just people who are just living their life and they know what they know and they don't know what they don't know. Just have them look up Reconstruction. Don't make it complicated. Just say
Yeah,
look
Mm.
up Reconstruction, and it'll walk them right into it. Right? It's like that word will take you right to the thing because most people, as soon as you bring up slavery, they turn off, right? Because they know there's no way they can win the argument. There's no way they can find a good way to talk about it. It's like bringing up the Holocaust. There's no way you can talk on the other side of the Holocaust. There's only one side to the Holocaust. So they don't even want to engage when you bring up slavery because there's only really one side to that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Reconstruction, nobody was taught that in school.
No.
No one was taught about that after slavery, how many elected officials we had, how many people we had in Congress, how many people we had who were actually building businesses and running entire communities. No one's taught that, right? They're not taught that. In response to that, the Freedmen's Bureau, which was what allowed this to even take place, was disbanded. And it was
yep,
disbanded because the president got killed and the next president came in and was like, nah, we ain't doing that.
yep. We tired. We tried it. It
So
didn't
just send
work.
them to
Or no, this is
Reconstruction,
working too
and they
well.
can find out the rest on their own.
Is oh, and by the way, yes, it had it. Black History with Tom Hanks. Yeah, it had a lot of views. It still didn't have as much comments as the
Yeah, because we
video
all
that.
understood. We was like, well, yeah, if you look at where he grew up, yeah, that makes
And
sense.
by the way, let's be real. I'm being funny, but I'm not being funny. It's really hard to not look at a video where I put the words Tom Hanks and Black History in the same title, and you're not gonna click on it and go,
And
"What
they're gonna be like,
the
what?
hell? What?" So, yeah, I get that one.
But you know
Hey,
that's a good one because that will get at least a portion of people who go, wait, Tulsa mask. I don't know about this, and they're gonna have to go look it up.
No, because it's not
yeah,
taught in
certainly.
school.
But the
Look it
governor
up.
over
We can look it
in
up. I might.
Oklahoma, as we speak, is trying to say that the Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre wasn't about race. So that's like literally happening right now. But
Uh,
yeah, I think one of the things that is important is yes, we need to know history, but much more important to me, and I hope I do a decent job at this, is it's not just about the history. I need you to contextualize it. I need you to hear the history and see how it either echoes into today or is right out saying it into today so that
Yep.
you can recognize behavior patterns and issues. And so you can formulate ways to adapt and to fight back, right?
Yep.
I try not to just sit here and say white straight men are evil. That doesn't get us anywhere, right? What's important is to focus on the culture. And I know I offend some white people when I do that, but I'm serious. Your culture is fucking predatory and it's horrible.
Yeah.
But within the culture, people are complicated. So you have people who are outwardly just horrible. You got more people who are just kind of dispassionately unengaged, and then you got some people who just don't give a damn, right? But you're all operating under a culture that gives disproportionate benefit and protections and privileges to you simply for being. And it's important to see that, recognize it, and decide how you want to play within it, right? So I don't know. I've kind of given up on people on that respect. It's really frustrating for me. But I know I'm going to turn around and go right back to it. I just get tired sometimes. But
Me too.
Marlon, you're on mute. You're
I was saying, sorry, give me a few minutes. I just want to give you a number of how many comments was on just that video.
okay, because you know I got to be up for blood work early in the morning.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
because I'm like, we moving into
Monday.
Oh, don't worry about it. It was 91.
91 comments on the one.
If you want to add it up, it's 91, 9, 10, 11, 101, 108. Yeah, 108 comments on just the videos.
Well, you did a good job with it, brother.
Remind
You
me,
do a
Anna,
good job, period.
Yeah, you did. Remind me to thank you for getting me on the Sabby Sabs.
Sabby Sabs is great.
All right. Last video of the night.
It's a choice later in life, but it depends on upbringing. When did you choose to be straight? That's a good call, man. I didn't choose to be. So born. When did you choose to be straight?
I don't know. Junior high, puberty, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So you remember making a choice?
I guess not really. I'm not totally certain that you're born one way or another.
Did you decide your sexuality?
That's a good point. I don't think I did.
I think it's a bit of both, actually. When did you choose to be straight? I don't know. Never thought about that. Do you think people are born gay or choose to be gay?
Choose to be gay.
When did you choose to be straight?
I never thought about it. I am who I am.
Do you think it's the same for gay people?
Maybe that's true.
Maybe.
Discussion so many times.
Cause she
and it's true, that does help people focus sometimes, because people are just saying sound bites. They're just saying things. They're saying what they heard at church. They're saying what they heard their friends. They're saying what they heard, blah blah. And you just basically say, okay, so is homosexuality, because they always go into it like a grooming thing, where they think there's some kind of membership committee walking around with a clipboard in your children's school trying to sign them up for the gay agenda, right? And I'm
it's
like,
a whole agenda.
There's not a recruiting drive here. There's not like T-shirts and pins, and they don't meet on every third Tuesday of the month. That's not how this thing works. So if you think that they're being recruited to be gay, then you have to acknowledge then we've been recruiting people to be straight, right? Because if it's a recruitment thing, let's stick with recruitment, right? So that means we are grooming children to be what we call straight, because that's what we put in their movies. That's what we put in their music. That's what we put on the television. That's what we put in their books. That's what they see all the way around them. That's what, everything is about being straight. Be straight. It's on your billboards. It's in your clothing. It's all of that stuff. So if you want to say that people are being groomed to choose their sexual identity, then you must say that you were groomed to be straight. So are you willing to go there? 9 times out of 10, no. I said, okay. So then it goes to this question. When did you decide to be straight? Or better yet, When did you decide not to be gay?
It's what it is. Okay. I wanted to play this video just for encouragement, more or less. I'm gonna be off the grid.
Encouraged, no
Encourage.
matter what. I'm singing background for you. No matter what's going
And he picked a
on,
gospel song.
and make it all right.
I'd rather have this.
But you gotta be strong. You're supposed to
But
be talking while I'm singing in the background.
okay, fine.
I ain't
It's
doing it now.
encouragement. It's encouragement. It's encouragement that I'm just saying that the loud minority is out there. They're gonna make noise. They're gonna make enough noise to make it seem like the United States is all the decisions is the majority. If you really look at the video me and Theus did, if you clearly look at the video, which I know, what I say, 109 people or whatever the hell it was, 108 people who commented on it, I guarantee you less than 50% actually watched the video.
Or they heard what they wanted
At
to
least
hear.
all the way
may
through,
actually say
yeah.
less than 30% watched the video. If you watch the video, you would see that me and Theus did not agree with what the guy in the video was saying. But we didn't throw him away.
You
We
went
said,
through.
we said if we was able to sit down and discuss things, maybe he can see a certain way of where we're coming from. I don't want you to quit talking to certain people who are on the fence. They are on a fence for a reason. Trust me, the loud minorities, you know which side they on. Yeah, let's not deal with those people. But the ones where I keep saying, I have to do these videos, I have to stay with this panel, I have to put these topics up and everything else. I'm not talking to the people that disagree with us. The people that disagree with us is going to disagree with us on whatever we talk about. But there is somebody who is on the fence that's going to watch these videos, that's going to watch those comments that's in there when I have to say something back to the person that says some of these BS crap that they saying, that will read this and go, oh, I get it now. But if I don't say nothing, if I don't do these videos, guess who I left them to? I left them to that vacuum. Because that's all they have now. And so I left them to. So now that minority, as time goes on, is going to be the majority. As time goes on, it's going to get bigger and bigger. We can say 20% now, and then come next year, it'll be 25. The year after is 30. The year after that is 35. Because you
That's how QAnon went.
Hurt my damn feelings, and now I don't want to hold a discussion with you. Because you said something wrong that you should have known.
Hey, and I don't want to let this run long, but that you just hit on a really big important part. So I would love for this to be a discussion one day, moving forward, maybe with a different video if we ever remember. But that's important to me because it's one of the things that Anna was touching on with us earlier in the discussion. Like, man, if you actually want to move a subject or a topic or a mission or an objective forward, how do you expect to do that if you shut down any conversation or you throw away your allies and friends because they don't get it right every time they talk or every time they talk to you? How do you expect to get anywhere? Right? I just don't get it. I don't get it. You know how I feel about my community, but when's the last time you saw me go in on Anna or go in on Parker or go in on somebody else because they didn't have the exact words? That I just don't understand why people do that. right? I mean, someone can be on your side for 90%, and you will throw them away on 10. Good luck winning like that.
I don't get it. Because the funny thing about it, and I have to be realistic with it. I just have to be realistic with it. Do you think you're right on everything that comes out of your damn mouth?
And do you think you know what's
mostly
right for everybody
Yeah, I was
else?
gonna say, I
Everybody?
mean, how honest do you want me to be? Because if I'm being 100% honest, I'm rarely. I mean, it just.
Tune in to Tracy Leaves the Left.
If you feel like you want to be right, you knock yourself out. Go ahead. You're not, but go ahead and feel. And Thea's, I heard you too. So you're in that same category.
You notice the two people who always diametrically are opposed agree in that one statement.
That you're always right.
Right.
Yeah. Do you get the
I'm
point?
not always right. I'm like a good 95%. Because, see, I try to only talk on topics that I've read about, talk to people who were involved in it, or I have direct firsthand knowledge of. I try.
So, listen to somebody literally categorize.
So there's room for improvement. I like it got a strong 5% to get better at.
You don't eat grits.
You don't even that floats. I'm not gonna listen to you about your 95%.
That all
of the things that you may know about it, there are so many things
that doesn't even sit in the 5%. Me not eating food that floats, that is, or only better, me not eating food that's floating. All right, now that's probably a better way to put it. That's not wrong.
No,
that's
it doesn't matter.
Me not eating mayonnaise, that's not wrong. That's right. Me not eating candy corn and peeps.
Who eats candy corn? Right. Nobody eats candy corn on purpose.
People who hate puppies and all things good in life.
We can all agree.
We can agree on that
one. Go on pizza.
What doesn't go on pizza?
Fruit.
You lying? It does. You're lying. Fruit definitely goes
the
on
only
pizza.
Fruit that belongs on pizza,
pineapple,
is going to be a dessert pizza or a tomato.
And a pineapple.
Nope.
No.
Or an apple.
Okay.
Ew. If it's a dessert pizza.
Oh. Yeah.
Just like you shouldn't be putting fruit in your salad. You want a fruit salad? Eat a fruit salad. Don't be putting fruit in my salad.
I put apples in my salad.
Nope. Then put that in a bowl with other fruit and make it a fruit salad. Don't give me a green leafy salad and put fruit in it. I'm fighting everybody in the room.
Tracy, tell everybody where they can find you.
This Tuesday, I will be interviewing Ted Rusk at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join me.
Please watch the video. Please tune in live. Please. There's a 50-50 chance it goes the whole 45 minutes.
I
keep promising 45 minutes and I'm always an hour. I'm going to stop promising 45 minutes.
There's a 50-50 chance it goes that long.
No, I've never gone under 45 minutes. Never.
If he cusses, it will.
Oh, well, yeah, because I already told him if you cuss, I'm turning you off and going. And that's with everybody. Anybody comes on my channel, if you cuss, I'm taking you off. I'm just not going to put up with it no more.
Right.
Why you want to police speech?
If you go,
because it's my channel and I'll do with it what I want to with it.
Exactly.
That sounds very dictatorial.
Exactly, Tracy. I agree with you. Anybody go to Tracy's show and cuss is going to hell. Fuck them. Please tell everybody where they can find you.
You know what?
As a matter of fact, I just put out a video on Complex Mind Simple Man. So there's a new video for the month of July. So I did one in May and then I did one in July. Look at that. Boom. Look at that. I am consistent now.
I didn't get a notification. How rude.
Hold on for a second. Hold on. I gotta check something real quick.
We haven't had a new inauguration.
Yep, Biden's still president. Whoa.
Sorry.
I can't hate it. And I'll tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, because it's time for me to take my medicine.
Yes. BoreliaEtc., and there's a contact page on there. If anybody does need to reach me and have any questions, please do use it.
Parker, I'm not going to put your message up because then we'll be back on here for another hour. So,
We sure will.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, and of course,
I'm assuming you're LGBTQ.
by the way, Anna, that actually is literally a word now. There's a video of a guy literally not saying LGBTQ. He literally said, if you're a legitimate qua. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming.
Told you, the council.
That is our show for tonight. Please understand there is no live shows all next week. So I appreciate Tracy. I appreciate Thiz. I appreciate Anna Hart. We will see y'all in 2 weeks. So until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
All right, now y'all go out there and find you a conservative to hug. Just go make it hug a conservative Monday. That's gonna be conservative hugging Monday.
We should all try to get along with each other.
Can I hug him with my foot?